along with me. Breaking news, it's a thrill. Live chat, got time to kill. XP, we're breaking the mold. Special guests, stories untold. Unfiltered truth, no hidden clues. No suit and tie, it's all for you. Out of the newsroom, into the light. No suit and tie, it's feeling right. Unscripted moments, the host is scary. On Next News Network, we never vary. On YouTube, we're streaming live. On Rumble, the chat is alive. On X, we're trending high. And mainstream media's dead, and we are why. Millions of followers, hear us out. Seen all over the world, there's no doubt. We are the future, shining bright. Join the raw feed every night. Out of the newsroom, into the light. No suit and tie, it's feeling right. Unscripted moments, the host is scary. On Next News Network, we never vary.
What's up, America? This is Gary Franchi. You are watching the Raw Feed on the Next News Network. I'm glad you've decided to join us tonight. Yeah, it's one of those late nights, and we're just getting started. It has been a heck of a day over here at the Next News Network. Yeah, we're chasing around NATO media credentials. Yeah, we're planning on going to the NATO summit, and we got the email from the White House. We got the official letter. It says, Gary Franchi, Angie Franchi, you are part of the White House delegation that is going to be traveling to the NATO summit as part of Donald Trump's White House. And we're excited for that. So working on those credentials, deadlines are tight, and keep your fingers crossed that we can get this going on. Now remember, folks, we're live on YouTube, streaming to millions worldwide and simultaneously broadcasting on Rumble and X. And remember, you need to follow us on those platforms. Share the stream right now via text message to bypass the algorithm. And for our X viewers, repost the show to your followers. Let's blow up their censorship. We got some breaking news just erupted in front of the White House. Secret Service shut down Lafayette Park, not for a security threat, but to stop a press conference that could bring down the entire Department of Justice. Yeah, all the Biden holdovers that are still causing trouble over there and have caused trouble back to, January 6th, because those political prisoners just declared war on their persecutors with a $100 million lawsuit. We've got the exclusive footage. And right now, before we even begin, send in those super chats and Rumble rants. We will be featuring them on screen for the world to see between segments. Now, what sets us apart here at the Raw Feed is we interact with you in the live chat, getting your real-time reactions to the day's explosive news. This is week 19 of Donald Trump's historic return to the White House. It's Friday night, baby. And yes, it also marks a moment that echoes through history. June 6th, 1944. What happened then? Well, Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy to defeat tyranny and save Western civilization. 81 years later, to the day, we're witnessing another battle for America's soul, but this time, the enemies are within our own ranks. And just like D-Day required unprecedented cooperation between allies who didn't always see eye to eye, today's battlefield demands unity among patriots. Churchill and Roosevelt, they had their differences, but they put them aside to defeat a common enemy. And now we watch as Trump and Musk, two titans who helped save America from the radical left, engage in their own civil war while our real adversaries celebrate. So, if you want to support this program and our efforts here to bridge the divide, you want to support our show privately, there's donation links in the description. And if you want to show off your favorite news source, the Next News Network, make sure you check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. You can gear up and let the world know where you stand for the uncensored truth. So today we're going to be exposing 4 explosive stories that will determine America's future. First, Trump's one big beautiful bill promises the greatest economic renaissance in history, but can it survive the MAGA civil war? We've also got exclusive footage of administration officials revealing how 500,000 new jobs all went to native-born Americans, reversing Biden's foreign first hiring disaster. And yes, the war between Trump and Musk has reached nuclear levels. Tesla stock crashed $150 billion in one day. Yeah, you know who's celebrating that, right? Touchdown Timmy. Yeah, and as the former allies are now trading blows on social media, and sadly, yes, mom and dad are fighting, and we're all caught in the middle. Can this alliance be saved, or are we watching the season finale of MAGA? Then the border crisis explosion happening right now as MS-13 gang member Kilmar Garcia gets flown back to America after 100 smuggling trips. Leftist mobs in LA are literally imprisoning ICE agents inside buildings. Plus, Attorney General Pam Bondi just revealed that Garcia trafficked children and was involved in murder. The FBI is on the scene, and this is a pure insurrection. And also, we got breaking news. Enrique Tarrio and the Proud Boys just dropped a $100 million lawsuit on the Biden regime for 4 years of torture as political hostages. They are naming names: FBI agents, DOJ prosecutors, corrupt judges. The hunters have become the hunted. But first, let's honor those brave patriots that pay to keep free speech alive. Make sure you join our YouTube channel memberships for exclusive perks. Each level unlocks special acknowledgement in the chat room, behind-the-scenes uploads, and access to our 24/7 members-only Discord. Friends, this is not just another news day. It is the day that the fight back begins. The gloves are off. The battle lines are drawn. Let's go and welcome you to the show. We've got Sabrina. We got Shuryu. We got Smoochy in the house. And we got a special guest who's waiting in the wings. Who could that be? Well, you're going to find out who is sitting patiently, one of the happiest guys on the internet that I know. Duty to Rebels here. We got Karen Myron, R. Boyd, Goat Biscuit, Misty Dawn. We've got Michael Jones, Jeanette Johnson. I mean, the gang's all here. Everyone's filing in. Any super chats to speak of as of yet? We're going to find out in a moment. But what really matters is that you're here and that you're sharing the stream, you're bypassing the algorithm and putting it out there. No super chats in the Alex Jones was right jar. Let's get this jar filled up tonight. Can we get that? Can we do that, guys? Can we do that? Well, before we start throwing money at Gary Franchi to see him dance, remember, I'm not a stripper on a pole. I am a patriot behind a desk, so there's a little bit of a difference. Now, I want to bring on somebody very special. Yes, we're going to bring on our friend Adam. Adam Lois is here. Adam, welcome to the show.
Hey.
Adam, it's great to have you here. Adam, I like to say you're like one of the happiest guys on the internet. You have your what do you call it? The weekly positivity challenge. You put that out on X. You're getting a lot of support for that. And I remember at C2E2, you put out a video too that went totally viral across X. You were having people dancing, all in their cosplay. I was even there, and I remember hearing the music. Had I known you were there, I would have gone down there and danced with you. But we've exactly, Adam, exactly. But people aren't dancing as much at the moment because there is a civil war that's brewing between mom and dad. Elon and Daddy Trump. They seem to be having a little lovers quarrel. But what's interesting is that you actually were at an event recently, and Elon Musk was on stage. We don't have the clip here, but people can look it up. You got to ask Elon a question. What was that question?
Yeah, so I said, hey, Elon, it's Adam, your #1 reply guy. You like my stuff all the time, and I'd love to be able to help you win moderate voters over to the Republican Party, and I could accelerate that. Would you be able to you follow me from your secondary account? Could you follow me from your main account? And he looks and he goes, I remember, kind of like I remember you. And he's like, sure, why not? And then he followed me.
Yeah, so now Elon Musk is following you. Congratulations. He doesn't follow that many people, but you're one of the lucky few. Now, there was a reply today. So Elon Musk, they were talking about the simulation. The whole Mars catalog put out this message. The whole most entertaining outcome is the most likely. Someone asked Grok, what is he talking about? Grok says the phrase, the most entertaining outcome is most likely, often linked to Elon Musk and called Musk's razor, suggests that dramatic or exciting outcomes feel more probable because they capture attention. It reflects Musk's bold approach to innovation. And then Elon chimes in. He says, if simulation theory is correct, then my theory is probably right. Now, this was just a few hours ago, 4 hours ago. As boring simulations are terminated to save compute costs, which is what we do to simulations in our reality. Adam decides to reply. Adam's right here. He says, Elon, if you want to get the best bang for your buck, get involved in the primaries to push moderate Republicans. Primaries are extremely cheap and can get an unbelievable ROI. Moderate Republicans can win general elections and pull moderate Democrats away from woke progressives. Now, this is where it gets interesting because what does he come in? Elon Musk, boom, right there. There's the reply 4 hours ago. He says, okay. Now, I take this as an indication he has not thrown the baby out with the bathwater yet. How do you interpret this?
Yeah, so he goes into another post where he talks with this guy named, I think, The Rabbit Hole. And he talks about, for example, in game theory, because we're first past the post voting system, and I also brought it up to him, that you're always going to have two parties because that's just how first past the post voting ends up happening. So you can, you're not going to go start an independent party. It's not going to work. And in fact, you're going to have a spoiler effect when you do that. We saw that with Ross Perot, for example, in the election was with Bush versus Clinton. So we don't want to have that kind of effect either. So what you could do instead is go for places that Republicans, if they had just a little bit of a boost of a more favorable candidates, like, for example, the Chicagoland area, which tends to be very heavily D, and you could find candidates who are socially moderate but fiscally conservative, you might be able to get enough Democrats to flip that are moderate Democrats to the Republican Party to get things through so that there's enough votes to be able to fix the bills however we need to so that it balances itself at the end. Now, I understand politicians have to do all these kinds of little favors because they're only thinking about their reelection the next cycle. But if you can get these Republicans on board in these slightly D heavier districts that are not too D heavy, you would then have the base that you need to be able to work off of that. And you can also, for example, get Republicans in other places who are very hesitant to make the necessary cuts or at least balance somehow the budget. So, for example, increase the standard deduction, but then you have to balance somewhere else. You have to pull maybe from the upper marginal rate, at least figure out some pathway forward to make those numbers balance so that compounding interest doesn't take over. So there's multiple strategies you can do than just simply throwing everything out, I think. And it could start with, for example, in D+2, D+3, D+4 districts, even things that are close like R+1, because right now in the midterms it tends to favor tends to be against the incumbent party, and that puts us at a disadvantage. So maybe he can go in places that are R+1 that are dangerous and get somebody who's a little bit more socially moderate so that they can get on the social issues like we shouldn't be, for example, teaching children LGBT stuff in the classroom at ages like 5, 6, but for example, at a high school course, education class in a scientific perspective, that could be, for example, where it can be taught as part of human biology, for example, things like that. So you can get Republicans.
Well, as long as we don't get confused about how many genders there are.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not something reasonable like that. You could be able to put it back up a few more seats that gives you the ability to pass the legislation to get those Doge cuts through and have the necessary votes to do that. So you don't have to make these weird compromises that you have a ton of pork just to be able to push something through.
Very, very interesting take, Adam. Now, Elon's watching right now. He's watching. He's taking notes. What do you got to say to him with respect? I mean, you just gave him a blueprint, right? What do you want to say to him with respect to what's going on between him and Donald Trump right now? I mean, because Adam, you are all about unity. I know it. It says right there on your shirt, okay? That's your thing. Bringing people together, making people smile, making people dance. It's all about positivity. And right now what we're seeing is a lot of angst, and people are confused. People are angry. They don't know which side to go on. Everyone's like, I'm all MAGA. I'm Elon. Personally, I don't want to see Elon go. I don't want to see him go to the dark side and never come back. Now, I got to say, when he dropped that neutron bomb and he pulled out the Epstein, allegation and then doubled down with the MSNBC clip, I was like, damn, Elon just keeps going. And then he went on to agreeing with the impeachment angle, with J.D. Vance becoming president. I don't know what was going through his head at the moment. I think he was just really pissed because he didn't like seeing this bill, all the hard work that he had done with Doge to get the Doge cuts, 160 billion, and then he was aiming for $2 trillion, and then only to see another 2.5 trillion added back. So basically, wiping out all the work that he did and sacrificing his entire all of his businesses. Right? They're firebombing Tesla dealerships. Tesla owners can't even drive in the streets for fear of being attacked. And all Elon did was go into the swamp and try to drain it, and he was just too damn effective. Taking the piggy bank away from the USAID that was funding all this disruption all around the world. Spreading absolute insanity. We got. I don't even want to get into some of the things we found that was going on at USAID. So that said, we have to acknowledge what Elon has accomplished, but we don't want to see him just run away and just basically light a match and throw it over his shoulder. So how do we get mom and dad back together? I mean, we're talking about two of the most powerful people in the world. You are the man of unity and smiles. What? Okay, let's say, okay, here. No, you're the divorce counselor right now. All right? This is who you are, Adam. You got mom and dad, they're in the room. How do you get them to kiss and make up?
Yeah, so I would point out some of the good things that, for example, Trump has accomplished. Like I'll point out, for example, he did a really good job on the border, and that's something that even if I have disagreements with Trump, I can always point to and say, hey, we nailed that like A+, like right on the nail. Border secure, down 90-something%. We're getting those deportations, especially of violent criminals, getting expedited, and emphasize first the good. Before you say, okay, now where can we work on to our differences? Now it's going to take a little time because right now everyone's kind of like heated in the moment because we're all human beings. So we have, our emotions that get to us. It's going to take maybe a day or two to cool off. Everybody step back, let the weekend happen, come back and say, hey, let's figure out a pathway where we can try to work so that the next time this bill comes up, or at least we can get some reforms in, that we can start shrinking the deficit at least a little bit. Now, we can't necessarily maybe fix everything overnight, but let's see if we can just simply, whatever the deficit was under Biden, let's see if we can get that down by like 5-10 more percent. And then later, the next year, we'll do another 5-10 more percent. And then by that time, hopefully we have gotten some Republicans primaried and some Democrats primaried who are not in favor of figuring out a way to balance the budget out of office in less safe districts. And then you have the votes that you need so that in past 2026, you can start to make some more changes to balance the budget so that compounding interest doesn't take over. But it's going to be a process where we have to remind, oh, there's me, of all the good stuff that's been accomplished so far. That's what you typically do whenever you have a fight. You reminisce on the good things. You say, okay, you acknowledge each other's points. You have a valid point here. I'm in a bad spot. I can't, I have to sometimes pass fork just because nothing passes if I don't. And then he acknowledges, I understand you risked your entire life, your entire businesses, your billions in net worth and trillion-dollar companies to try to help fix our country. Let's see if we can figure out a 2, 3, 4-year plan that we can implement that will fix the problem over time. We can't do it one day, but if we can do something incrementally, maybe we can get something to work.
So then what was Elon's big issue with the big beautiful bill? I mean, was it because Doge cuts were not codified? Was that like really one of the main sticking points?
One of the big, so I'll give you a good example. So one, it increases the deficit. So that's a huge issue in itself because there's so many, this bill's like over 1,000 pages long. So there's so many places there. But an example would be, for example, subsidies. So there are no more EV subsidies and he's fine with that. But there's also continuing to be gas and oil subsidies. And he's like, okay, that's skewing the market. If you're trying to cut out pork and pork spending, you have to start cutting out all these different subsidies, especially if This isn't something that we're competing with China on. So we're not competing with China on oil and gas. Um, we're competing on things like, for example, solar. They're going to eat our manufacturing base right underneath us because they're flooding our markets. So, for example, we could do maybe more strategic tariffs on solar. I think that was in place earlier, and we could figure out a pathway there. But I think it's more that he saw some subsidies going away, and he was okay with that. He, in fact, advocated for it, but he's seeing other subsidies not going away. And he's like, well, now you're skewing the market of what actually is the actual cost of the energy, and therefore you're slowing down the progress that we need to build the manufacturing base so that we can compete with China on solar, battery, and other stuff.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I can see why you'd be upset about that. But I mean, is it enough to throw the Epstein bomb in the middle of the whole thing?
Yeah, that's a little bit overboard. I think it was just out of pure frustration. He did it. It's kind of like when you're having a fight and then you text your ex something you're gonna regret and you're like, oh my god, I shouldn't have said that, and then you're like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it went overboard. Like Elon knows that the wealthy all hang out with each other. It's a very small, close knit circle. But because you hang out with somebody does not necessarily mean that you participated in something with them. Um,
Well,
and
let's be honest.
yeah,
The information relating to Trump and Epstein has been out for for decades. It's not a secret that Epstein was a member of Mar-a-Lago, and the minute that Trump found out what Epstein was up to, he kicked his ass to the curb.
yeah,
And then everyone's like,
yeah,
"Oh, he was on the jet, he was on the Lolita Express." Well, yeah, he wasn't going down to the Little St. John's Island. He was taking flights up to Jersey when his plane wasn't working. You know,
yeah.
So
It's like a car ride where we go and you're like, hey, I'm on the way. You want to hop in with me? Kind of deal. Yeah.
yeah. So I just hope that these guys can come to the table. Do you think it's salvageable? I mean, is this? Okay, let me before we go there. I mean, there's people who think that this whole thing was manufactured. I mean, I'm hearing stories that saying, wait a second, this was all manufactured. That before Elon left, they had a conversation. Now, of course, this is just speculation. Elon has a conversation with Trump, and we're going to get this Epstein thing out, and I'm going to come out and I'm going to drop a bomb on you on you're going to piss on my bill, and then I'm going to say Epstein, and then I'm going to make sure that Epstein comes out to prove my innocence, and I'm going to show the list, and then it's going to prove my innocence, but inadvertently, because everyone says, oh, they want to see the Don on the list, but inadvertently they expose the entire game. Is that even a possibility? I mean, I think that's out there, but
I wish that was the case, but I think it's more of just pure egos frustrated. They're both, are executives or CEOs. They're used to, being the boss of thousands of people, so they're not used to having too much pushback when they have an idea. So I think it's more that their egos are clashing at the moment. But cool heads will prevail eventually because they're both on the same team. They both want to accomplish the same goals, just different ways of going about doing it. And it might take a little bit of time to cool off. I hope he does release the files because that'll clear things out really quickly for him.
Mhm.
And we'll see. It's basically what we've known before, that everyone that's rich knows each other, they're friends with each other, and that doesn't necessarily mean they participate in some of the stuff that
Right.
they do.
What's interesting, Adam, is that a couple months back, the media was trying to drive a wedge between Elon and Trump. It was evident. We saw it everywhere. They were calling him President Musk and Vice President Trump. Like they were, the photographs circulating online with Elon sitting in the Resolute desk. Like they were clearly trying to drive a wedge because of the effectiveness of Elon's campaign, not just with Doge, but even on the campaign trail. I mean, spending millions and giving away money for people to just, say, I'll support the Constitution, right? So Elon was so damn effective that they were trying to drive a wedge, but we all saw through it. We raised the alarm bells. We said, listen, Elon, Don, listen, don't play the game. This is all a facade. We understand what's being played here. Now, fast forward. Now, in my inside, I always felt like these are titans. We have the most powerful man in the world, all right, and we have the richest man in the world. And I always had a feeling it was going to come to a point where these guys throw off so much gravity that eventually they're just going to hit and they're going to collide and it's just going to explode. And I think that's what we just saw. We saw the breaking point. But I think what's beautiful is that when something is broken, you can pick up the pieces and you can put it back together in an even more beautiful way. And I think I hope that that's what happens. You know, like if you hit rock bottom, you hear these stories, people, they hit rock bottom. It's the worst part of their life, but like only place they can look is up, and it's better. And it's all it's better from there. There's nothing worse than where you are, right? So I think that maybe we've hit the bottom of that moment, and now it's just going to come back better. What do you say?
Yeah, and we also have to understand Elon's mindset. So Elon has Asperger's, and there are certain characteristics that are very common in people who have Asperger's. And one of those things are like, for example, emotional intelligence tends to not be their key strength. They tend to be very technical people, and they tend to get very upset if, for example, if they do something that's their life's work, they get really upset if all of a sudden it comes apart. So, for example, him and his Doge and him and his sacrifices all of a sudden getting undone just really got to him. Now, he's making these posts. I think they might be a little bit over the top. He needs to tone it down a little bit, just like Trump needs to tone it. Both of them have to tone it down. But since he's on the spectrum, he has a very different perspective of how things are. So he's not as quite concerned about interpersonal relationships, he's more concerned about work. Like, what are the results I'm getting? Did the bill get changed to at least reduce the deficit somewhat? It hasn't yet. All right, I'm going to keep pushing until somebody is going to it's going to stir a fire under someone, and finally they're going to say, all right, we have to make a few revisions here and there just to at least maybe get it down 5%, the deficit or something like that. So it's just a different mindset. His mind functions differently because he has Asperger's than people who are would be cognitively normal, so to speak. So
sure.
Yeah.
So with respect to the Doge, I love the Doge, and Elon's no longer at the head of it. But Doge is still there. I mean, they're still embedded, right? They're still getting work done, right?
Yep. It's still an ongoing process because, it's like a game of cat and mouse, unfortunately, where you find a couple little things here and then somebody tries to sneak a couple things here, and you're gonna have to constantly play this game of chase around, and then hopefully with time you can scale up AI, and AI can simply just parse this information and do things at superhuman scales to be able to find this corruption a lot faster. So it's going to take us probably a bit of time to go there. And I know they're integrating AI. I've heard, throughout the administration to, leverage the tools. And hopefully in 2 years from now, 3 years from now, it'll be at a point where you can't sneak anything past it. No one bill with 1,000 pages and you got like 8 hours to read it.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy when they put these bills together. They slide all kinds of crap in there, and then you got one person who doesn't like this piece, and they're gonna grandstand on that, and then you have other people who are gonna say, well, we want the best parts of it. We don't even know what's in the damn bill. Like, where is it? Where do we read the bill? Like, you do need to take AI and you need to throw this bill into it and say, okay, I don't like this thing, so tell me if this is in it, right? It's a guessing game.
Oh yeah, it's very difficult. Thankfully, the tools are being developed. So Grok has a ton of potential. He just built a huge data center out in Memphis, and it's going to be absolutely massive. And as they continue to train the models, they're going to get continuously better. So it's something that they will be able to handle. Right now, they're kind of wishy-washy still. Especially when things get really, really large, like thousands of pages. But that's something that, like, we saw how far like AI generation for videos has come along, how far it's come along for image generation, how far along Chat GPT models from Chat GPT-2 until the current version has come along. That this progress is almost exponential. So probably in a year or two, this will be stuff that will get smoothed over because the AI will be able to do a lot of that heavy lifting.
Well, let's just hope there's no more heavy lifting between Trump and Elon Musk. We hope that we can get mom and dad back together. Now, before you go, I know you've got some big things going on. You've been talking about it. You've been sharing some of those things with me when I see you at different events around town. You've got a big event with X, and you actually just had your account. Your account was hacked, and you messaged me like, Gary, help me out. You guys probably see I post Adam's stuff all the time on our feed on Next News Network. Adam's an affiliate of Next News Network, so he is one of the very few people that actually have Next News Network in his actual name. On his profile, so he's one of the very few people. We don't give those out to people. So your account was hacked. What happened there?
So actually, it wasn't hacked. It was actually temporarily banned because they did a bot purge, and the algorithms use a bunch of different metrics to determine what is a bot. And unfortunately, people who are extremely active, like myself on X, sometimes get swept up in these purges. And so, for example, I was organizing a meetup on August 30th here in Chicago, so I could teach people how to do. It's an X meetup, but it's also to teach people how to do social media and marketing more effectively. And I'm targeting Republicans who are running for office so that they can get off the ground and get going faster with their campaigns and not have to hire multi-$1,000 consultants. Now I'm messaging, about 116 different influencers to be able to organize this. I did like a test pilot program where I just grabbed randomly about 116 and said I'm going to send them out messages and see who's helping, who's not from that 116 batch. And then later who's helping, I'm going to link them up. So when I do these tours across the country, teaching people how to do social media more effectively, I can give them referral codes so that they can earn income from what they're doing and they can earn a living. So when I was doing that, because I'm sending out to 116 influencers, that's a little bit too much. And unfortunately, the algo thought I was a bot, and so I got taken down. Now, thankfully, I'm friends with a lot of the people that work at X. Linda Yaccarino follows me. Elon follows me. I let some of my friends know immediately what happened, and I created a video to put in my community that I sent to one of my friends to post in there, who's a mod there, and said, just tag Elon, Linda. And I just told everyone, just reply to this, send it out there. And I got my account back roughly within 24, 36 hours or so. So relatively quickly.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm just very glad that a lot of the people at X love what I do. And there will be X employees at the event on August 30th. I found out that one of them is coming, and I'm hoping they might consider hiring me to be able to do this on tour. I've already figured out a model to make this economically viable. But if Elon backs it directly with X, then I can help Elon train Republicans all across the country by doing these events where I teach them the marketing and the social media and the ad panels. And then afterwards hold the X meetup. So it's a 2-for-1. And I can help them scale up faster. But yeah, they'll be coming there. And I'm so grateful that they follow me because I was able to get my account resolved. I wish they could do at scale to resolve these counts. I'm going to talk to Elon and Linda and all these people such that when I do these events across the country, these meetups across the country, that there can be an employee there. So if someone has an account issue, they can go there. So we happen to be in Cleveland or we happen to be the next day in Seattle. They can go there in person, file an appeal form, and actually get in-person help. So I'm hoping they agree to that idea. So it'll be like a proposal that I do where I can do a 3-for-1. I could teach Republicans how to do social media better, do a meetup for X, and then resolve account issues on the spot.
Well, that would be really something because there's no social media companies that I know of that actually have physical representation that you can like speak to. Now, I mean, when my account was demonetized in February of 23, which is devastating. It took a long time for me to reach back to all my contacts, going back to my Super PAC days when I was running the Revolution PAC. When we actually had a Google representative who was working with us because we were the most effective Super PAC online at the time. And then, of course, when 2016 comes around, Next News Network was the #1 online YouTube channel for all the politics and White House and all that. That's the rest is history. But it took a long time for me to actually get to somebody physically to speak to them to get answers. And of course, I didn't really like the answers, but I'm happy to see that you are out there. You are being effective. You're getting people like in real life, like you're detaching from this, your phone is in your hand, in your face, and the world's around you. And, you're getting people to look up, you're getting people to dance and to unify. And I just hope that, your work is successful. I know it will be successful because, everything you do is just, it's full of joy. I just love seeing you, man. You're just like, yes, I want to help. Like, what can I do? And I think that's one of the big joys, especially when you came to CPAC and you helped us out at CPAC, and then you came to our hotel room. You had a lot of beverages for everybody. It was more than I was used to. Thank goodness I was leaving, and I didn't get to see what happened that night. I don't even want to know. I guess what happens at CPAC stays at CPAC. But anyway, so real quick, throw it out there. What's the date, and how can people find you? Obviously you're on X, but how can people get involved in this real life X meetup?
Yeah, so you can go to my website, adamlois.com, ADAMLOWIS as in Sam, Z as in zebra.com. That'll take you to my Eventbrite page. So I have tickets that are very affordable for the general meetup. Those are $25 plus the Eventbrite fees, which is like $3. And then I have the tickets, which are the VIP tickets, which will be me actually creating a PowerPoint presentation and going about an hour, hour and a half with Q&A of teaching you guys through the process of how to do, ads, marketing, geo-targeting, set up for political ad buys, because some require you to get verified. So you can go through the steps. And also, if you have a business, for example, these are great tools to how to do marketing for your own business, to grow your own business also. It's not just for politics. And then I have one more step up, which is the Ultra VIP. If you want a one-on-one session with me for like 20, 30 minutes, where you say, hey, here's my problems, I need you to solve them. I'll be like, sure, no problem. You don't have to pay $1,000 to a consultant, just 50 extra bucks. I'll sit down with you and I'll hash out, a strategy for you to go forward.
I'm trying to bring up the page right now. I think this is it. There it is. Yeah, Adam's Meetup. There it is. I think we got it. Boom. Adam's X Meetup. X Meetup from across the country. Meet each other, learn about X, network, and have fun. Follow X.com. Adam Lowitz for the latest updates. And it's going to be at the Playbook Ultra Sports Bar. Is that right?
Yeah. So my friends own the venue, so they're doing an amazing deal. They're basically giving me the place for free. And I'll have a stage on there. I'll have microphones and everything. And they have a lot of TVs all around, so I could do the presentation up there. And since my friends own the place, we could basically do what we want with it and have fun.
About the organizer. Right on. There he is, Adam. Simple guy trying to do great things.
That's my motto.
Well, that's the truth. That's the Adam that I know. Okay, final thoughts, real quick. Trump, Musk, where's it going?
I say give it a little bit of time to cool off. Things will cool down maybe after a couple of days, maybe a week or so, and hopefully things go forward where Elon realizes, hey, you know what? Trump is playing with a bad hand, and we got to give him a better hand after the midterms. And that's going to require us to get these moderates in these D districts or these R+1 or R+2 districts that they're not so safe in the midterms, and get better candidates that might be able to get across the finish line and give him the hand that he needs to make the reforms he needs.
All right, Adam, thank you so much for joining us here on the Next News Network, and I'll see you around town.
Have a good one. I'm going to do my exit.
All right. There's Adam Lowitz. Unity is his game. Wonderful guy right there. Wonderful man. So, Brian, get that clipped out. We want to get that on the socials right away because we need to get this in front of Elon. We need to get this in front of Trump, and we want to get mom and dad back together. Okay, we can't have a divorce. All right. Everyone's got to lick their wounds and, bury the hatchet and get back together. So we're going to move into our first topic of the evening right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little interview with Adam. Make sure you follow him on all the platforms where you can find him. I just gave you all the information. We're going to post it up on X in a little bit. Now, I want to bring up our trivia. I still don't have a trivia button. Wait. Oh, there it is. Okay. My bad. Okay, so what is our trivia topic for tonight? Let's see, where is it? Okay. In 1986, President Reagan achieved historic tax reform by reducing the top rate from 50% to 28%. How many tax brackets did his reform reduce the system to? Is it A, 2 tax brackets, B, 3 tax brackets, C, 5 tax brackets, or D, 7 tax brackets? Personally, I'd like to see no friggin' tax brackets. But you guys know. You guys can weigh in the poll. It is up and is active. And right now, C is on the leaderboard. Oh, and speaking of leaderboards, there is now a new feature. I want to bring this up to everybody who is in the chat room right now. There is, I believe, we just had this new feature activated. Brian, have you looked into that at all? The community leaderboard? There's a way that, is it automatically enabled? It's automatically enabled. Okay, so people get, it's based on a certain amount of activity or something? You can open up your mic if you want to talk, Brian, and help people understand, if you know better than I. You do not. Well, can people hear you talking? I don't know if they can hear you talking. Okay, that's why I said open up your mic, because I'm talking to a ghost. Because they believe you're not even real, Brian. They believe you're AI. Yes, Brian is a real person. And how do you find out who's number one? Where do you see that? But where did you see that he's number one? How did you find that? And who's number one right now? Okay, okay. I see. He's got a crown and a number 3. Okay. Frog762 says I'm schizo. Well, thank you for that. Community. See, I click on community leaderboard and I see it's blank. I don't see anything on the leaderboard. And anyway, there's a new feature. All right, let's get our. I'll click the crown at the top of the chat. How do you click the crown? Top chat, live chat, fan funding, super chats. I don't know. Yeah. I see that. Participate, moderate, reactions, pop outs, community moderation. Okay. All right. Well, we got news to get to. And Brian, you know the drill. You know the drill. If you can get that clipped up as soon as possible, that'd be great. Washington's establishment's in full panic mode right now. The numbers just dropped, and they are scrambling to explain how Trump created over 500,000 jobs, with every single one going to native-born Americans. Not a single job to foreign workers. 0. Meanwhile, Biden handed 2/3 of his jobs to immigrants while Americans stood in unemployment lines. The contrast couldn't be more shocking, but here's what has them really terrified. Trump's one big beautiful bill is about to unleash an economic tsunami that makes Reagan's boom look like a ripple. The deep state knows what's coming. The question is, do you? We'll keep watching. And here's the hard truth, though. Every 6 years, your dollar loses half of its buying power thanks to the Federal Reserve. That means $100,000 savings account today could feel like $50,000 by 2031. And you see it every time you fill up your tank, you buy your groceries, or pay the bills. Prices up, your dollar's down. I mean, we're hoping the big, beautiful bill is going to resolve all this. But there is a simple way if you want to take action now. Right? Don't wait for government to fix it. You have the power in your own hand. A simple way to protect your value of your savings with something that's real, something proven is gold, an asset that holds its value over time. That's why I trust, personally, Noble Gold Investments. They make it simple to protect your savings with physical gold or silver, no high-pressure sales, no call centers in India, just honest guidance, one-on-one support, and transparent pricing. And right now, when you open a qualified account, Noble Gold will send you a free 10-ounce silver American flag bar as a thank you. So head to nextnewsgold.com to learn more. That's nextnewsgold.com. Don't just protect your wealth, preserve its power. And the number on the screen, 877-646-5347. And when you call, ask for Colin. Tell him Gary Franchi sent you. Just like protecting your wealth with gold shields you from inflation, Trump's one big beautiful bill promises to shield America from the largest tax hike in history. We're talking about a $4 trillion disaster that would crush every working family in this country if Congress fails to act. Now, the latest jobs report just demolished every prediction from the so-called experts. The Council of Economic Advisors, Chairman Stephen Mirren, broke down what the establishment media won't tell you about Trump's economic miracle. And what did they say? That every single job gain since inauguration went to Americans and not foreign workers. That's a complete reversal of the Biden disaster, where immigrants got the jobs while citizens got pink slips. Now, the private sector is exploding while government bloat shrinks. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer puts the stunning reversal in perspective. Watch how Trump's leadership is transforming our economy. Take a look.
The 139,000 new jobs added to this economy is great for the American people. President Trump, under his leadership, invested in this. We're seeing it month after month. We are exceeding expectations.
Exceeding expectations. 139,000 jobs for the third straight month. It's not luck, it's policy that puts America first and actually working. But none of this matters if the big, beautiful bill fails. The clock is ticking on the largest tax increase in American history. $4 trillion will get ripped from working families' pockets if Congress doesn't act within weeks. OMB Director Russ Vaught reveals the historic savings that's hidden in this bill that Democrats desperately want to kill. Watch.
But this bill has historic levels of mandatory savings. Historic. We've never seen anything like the level of $1.7 trillion in mandatory savers. It's why the bill, over 10 years, actually reduces debt and deficits. It's not a rounding error when you have historic levels. When you look back in the last time we were even in the conversation of savings like this was 1990s. Can the bill be improved? Sure. We're very happy with what passed out of the House. We're having great conversations in the Senate and continuing with House members to make improvements to the bill. But this bill, in addition to accomplishing vast amounts of the president's agenda, and that's really what this is. It is an agenda bill. It is not a budget bill. It is a device to get through the Senate without the Senate filibuster and to put as much as you possibly can into it. And any one of these provisions in any other year would have been the subject for 6 to 8 months of debate. This bill puts them all together, helping the American people on so many different fronts that the president was promised to them on the campaign. And in addition, it reduces debt and deficits over 10 years by $1.4 trillion.
Historic mandatory savings, $1.4 trillion, levels we haven't seen since the 1990s. Now, the bill actually reduces debt while cutting taxes. I mean, when's the last time Washington managed that? Real wages are surging, though, at 5% annually, while inflation sits at just 2%. What does that mean? It means that workers are getting ahead for the first time in years. Here's Stephen Moore explaining why this is only the beginning of the economic explosion.
The other positive thing about this report, which is very much a reversal from the Biden years, is we got a good jump up in wages. You know, workers want to be well paid. One of the ways of getting workers back into the workforce is to increase their wages and salaries. So according to this report, the wages and salaries are growing by about 5% annually. And think about that. We're at inflation at about 2%. So what that's telling you is real wages, real take-home pay for workers is increasing. And as we talked about for 4 years on the show, under Biden, it was falling. So that's a very, very positive thing for the American family and the American worker.
Workers' take-home pay is increasing after 4 years of Biden's inflation eating their paychecks. This reversal didn't happen by accident. It's Trump economics in action. Now, the energy sector is leading the charge with oil and gas extraction jobs booming. Construction and mining are surging as we bring critical mineral production back from China. Here's Cheryl Casson revealing which industries are driving this America First jobs revolution. Watch.
As far as the major industries, they also mention, which I think could be a good thing here, they're mentioning oil and gas extraction, drill baby drill, everybody, and then they're also mentioning construction and mining. You know, think about this push to get more copper produced here in the United States. We don't need to be getting our minerals from overseas, from China anymore. That is already happening under President Trump, and that seems to be reflected in this data.
Drill, baby, drill. Not just a slogan. It's creating real jobs for real Americans while securing our energy independence. Now, manufacturing's returning, but it's not your grandfather's factory floor. Advanced manufacturing. It requires new skills. American workers are stepping up. Joel Schulman from ER Shares sees optimism everywhere as small businesses prepare for the coming boom. Watch.
There's optimism here on the horizon. We've got the next CPI on June 11th. Real estate has been trending down. It's not growing as quickly. And so we've seen PEC come down. CPI in the last few months have come down. So I think the last CPI last month was a catalyst. I think we're going to see another catalyst on June 11th, coupled with this better than expected jobs report. So I think things are looking more optimistic. If the tariff impact is fairly small, and we'll wait and see what happens here, I think we've got better than average rate cuts in our horizon.
Rate cuts are coming, inflation's dropping, the perfect storm for economic growth if we can get the bill passed. Now, the small business revolution is also exploding across America. Job Creators USA CEO Alfredo Ortiz explains how private enterprise is crushing government expansion. Exactly what Trump promised to deliver. Watch.
And look, the real story here is the government jobs are down and the small business economy is growing and the private economy is growing. This is exactly what Donald Trump wanted to do for inversing everything that Biden had done. Remember, last time when under the Biden administration, 500,000 jobs were created, but they were in the government sector, right? And so it's so good to see that we're actually creating private economy jobs again. And look, in the midst of this is also some of the uncertainty that's coming from the tariffs and the unknowns of the tax cuts. So, but that's why we need the tax cuts. That's why the actions of the president on the tariffs. This is all about jobs overall, and the actions of the president are about jobs. And so, you know, I know we haven't touched much on the tax cuts, but really, you know, if we think about tax cuts now is jobs tomorrow. And so that's what the president wants, and I think that's what we're seeing today.
Private economy jobs are replacing government bureaucracy. Think about that. This is how you drain the swamp while building prosperity. Stephen Mirren appeared again this morning to hammer home the urgency. Watch him just explain why passing this bill within the next month will end all economic uncertainty and trigger an investment boom. Watch.
These numbers are better than a lot of the economists had predicted. As you know, businesses have been warned about the uncertainty caused by the president's trade war. Many of the largest public U.S. companies have actually suspended their forecasts for future earnings as a result of that. What do you say to employers desperate for clarity about the business environment ahead?
I'd say be a little bit more patient. In about a month or so, hopefully, the One Big Beautiful Bill will be passed, and all of the uncertainty about whether America is going to experience the biggest tax hike in history, $4 trillion tax hike that would plunge it into recession if we don't pass this bill, will be gone. And instead, the bill will create an economic boom in America by creating huge incentives for investment, huge incentives for additional labor supply, and it's going to be a great outcome if we get that bill passed. And also, about a month from now, will be the deadline for the trade deals. And I hope that we'll have a bunch of trade deals come in over the next month. And so what I'd say is that uncertainty, there has been uncertainty, but it will start resolving.
Business leaders are begging for clarity. In 1 month, they'll either get the biggest tax cut in history or watch their companies get crushed by Biden's tax time bomb. Now, the establishment tried to sabotage Trump's first term by lying about his tax cuts. They claimed disaster. Well, we got the greatest economy in history. Remember? Do you remember? Oh, man, that Trump economy, 2016, it was beautiful. That whole first administration, you could feel it everywhere. And what happened when Biden got into office? It was like doom and gloom, like a great cloud descended over the entire nation. I mean, it wasn't just because the election was stolen. I mean, that was bad enough. But we knew the economy was going south. Peter Navarro, he exposes how they're now using the same playbook again with fake CBO numbers. Watch.
If I had a dime for every time President Trump said on the campaign trail he was going to end the EV mandate, I'd have a ton of dimes. And he is a man who keeps his promises. It really isn't about the EV money per se. What it's about with the CBO is an historic pattern of getting their forecast wrong. If you go back to the 2017 tax cut that the president orchestrated, the CBO at the time forecasted, as usual, a very low rate of growth. It did static scoring. Its Keynesian assumptions basically put it on a path where we now know it underestimated the growth rate by about a percentage point, and that's trillions of dollars. And it's there they go again. I guess they can't help themselves. At least they have now included the tariff revenue in, and when you do that, that alone gets us the surplus. But when you get the growth rate, too, I mean, Maria, we're not going to grow 1.7% over the period with Trump policies. That's absurd. We've seen the Trump policies work before, the deregulation, the strategic energy dominance, lower energy prices, the fair trade, and now the Doge waste, fraud, and abuse cuts. We know that we're going to grow in the twos and probably hit 3 or more because of the president's policies. And the CBO won't score that. So if I could sit down with Ron John, I love that guy. I'd just go over the numbers with him. But the numbers are the numbers, and this, if you do the numbers correctly, you get to a substantial multi-trillion-dollar surplus. And I think that's what people should focus on, because the bond market has been reacting, I think, in the wrong direction to all the rhetoric about the bill. But if you just do the numbers say yields should be coming down.
So the CBO says growth at 1.7%. Absurd when Trump policies delivered 3% growth before and will again. Now watch how the president is already beating expectations month after month. Stephen Mirren celebrates another jobs report that shocked the experts who keep underestimating Trump's economy. Watch.
139,000 for May. The expected number was 130. Others had it around 125,000. Not terrible. What is your reaction on that, Stephen?
No, they're great jobs numbers. The president's economy is healthy. The president is succeeding in creating hundreds of thousands of jobs since he came into office. More than 500,000 jobs since he came into office, and they're all going to native-born Americans.
Okay.
And on top of that, wages grew in May at twice the pace that they grew in April. Right. So we've got better job creation, better real income growth. It's a great report.
500,000 jobs created, and they're all going to native-born Americans. When has that ever happened in modern history? And trade deals are coming fast as our partners realize that Trump means business. Mirren drops hints about what's brewing behind closed doors with Europe and Asia. Watch.
There's a number of deals in the works with a number of our trading partners, particularly in Asia and in Europe as well. And, I expect that these deals to come out in a flurry as we get closer to the deadline. Some might come out very soon, but I expect there to be a flurry as we get closer to the deadline because of the process in which these deals are proceeding, where there's steps that everyone is taking to move the deal forward. And those steps are designed to yield success around the time of the deadline.
So multiple deals ready to drop as deadlines approach. Trump's negotiating genius at work. And the economic data proves one thing beyond doubt. When you put America first, Americans win. Small business confidence is soaring. Manufacturing returning. Energy independence is here. I'm so happy. Can you imagine if Kamala Harris was in the Oval Office right now? We wouldn't be celebrating this type of news. Wages are beating inflation. Folks, this is only the appetizer before the main course. What's the main course? The one big beautiful bill. If you got value from this report, tab subscribe. It's time for my final thought. Now, this isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet, okay? This is about your family's future. Every single economic indicator is screaming the same message. Trump's policies work. Period. We've got 500,000 Americans back to work. Wages crushing inflation. Small business thriving. But here is the brutal truth. It all vanishes. It all vanishes if Congress fails to pass the one big beautiful bill. $4 trillion in tax hikes will destroy everything that we have built. And you know what's going to happen? They will point the finger at Trump. They will blame him on every single channel, up and down. This is Trump's economy. But no, that is only if the swamp wins. We can't let the swamp win. The swamp knows this. The globalist knows this. And that is why they're fighting so dirty to stop it. So here is my question for you. Should Republicans who vote against these tax cuts be primaried out of office? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments. Remember, this is about survival patriots. And if you want to show where you stand, check out our merch shop. It's linked below. Wear your support proudly, because America First isn't just a slogan. It's our lifeline. All right, baby. Man, just like good news after good news after good news. Speaking of good news, we got some chat, super chat time. It's time for the super chats. Time for the super chats. That's what we need to do. We need to have a jingle, Brian. Can we make a jingle? Can you make a jingle, Brian? Use your special AI mastery. Make a jingle. Here come the super chats. All right. Yes, Brian's gonna work on that. Got confirmation in my ear. He just whispered sweet nothings. Okay, so we got some super chats to speak of. Look at this. We got $2 from FK Your Feelings. That was an hour ago. Trump need to meet Xi Jinping in America, not in China. All right. He wants to spend $2 for that. Okay, so if I press the button for P, you got the frog. There's the frog. And then P3, that's the close-up of me. And then P1 is the zoom out. Yeah, I know. I know what you're going to say, Brian. You don't even have to say it. I already hear you. Okay. Karen Myron, $3. Hands doing a sign of the horns with sparkles around. What horns are you talking about here? $3, though. Take it. 1, 2, 3. Look at the cash coming in tonight, Friday night. Having a good time with the N3 family. All right. What else have we got here? We got Misty Dawn. Misty Dawn dropping $9.99. Do I hear is it a nine? Did I hear niner? A niner? All right, that is $10. We'll round it up for you, Misty. Thank you for that. And our Boyd, what did he just do? He gifted 5 memberships. Woo! Welcome to the family. We got some new N3 family members. Cole and Deanne. Night Call is here, and Rogue Shinobi. We got Mrs. Mom 2_2 was gifted a membership. Goat Biscuit, the goat. The Goat Biscuit is here, dropping $1. That was 26 minutes ago. Thank you for that. Oh boy, Juan Ruiz is here to start trouble tonight. What is Juan gonna do? Yep. Whenever I see Juan, I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen tonight with this guy. But he last night he chopped like, I don't know. Were you drinking last night? Just super chatting away? We'll take it though. We thank you for that last night and the $5 just now. And then we've got, what did he say? Hey Gary, do you want to do some exercise? Oh, really? Uh-huh. Yeah, I know where you're going with that, buddy. You think you're gonna get Francie to get up and dance again, like some kind of, like I'm a puppet. I'm your news puppet. Well, nobody makes me their news puppet. We got Prism 63. Doge, Illinois, swamp, please. I can agree with that, Prism. And that was $1. That came from Rumble. What do you know? Wow, we got viewers on Rumble. Yeah, that's strange. Let's see. We got one super chat from Rumble. How many people are watching on Rumble right now? Wait, where does it say? It doesn't say. What does it say? Oh wait, it says here. 49 people watching on Rumble. Yeah, see, because Rumble's just as bad as YouTube. You guys, you think that they don't game the system over at Rumble? Oh yes, they do. You don't get views unless you kiss the ring and get on the front page. That's how it works at Rumble. All right? Yeah. Trust me. I know all about it. Had the conversations. Whatever. Don't get me started. Because when Next News Network needed Rumble, they were nowhere to be found. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Our trivia. All I see is an answer. I see only an answer in my script. That's because, yeah, we're not going to the question, we're going to the answer. Of course, that's why we would only see that. Okay, yeah, it's late, guys. It's late. I hope that Grand Old Memes is surviving tonight. He's probably texting me. He's like, Francie, I'm out. We'll see. Grand Old Memes, we love you, man. All right, so trivia answer. You guys said it was tax brackets B. No, the answer is A. Brian, they got it wrong right out the gate. Sorry. Yeah, answer is A, 2 tax brackets. Reagan's 1986 Tax Reform Act simplified the system to just 2 brackets. Revolutionary, though, at the time. And I see some more super chats that just came through. You guys got it in just in time because we're moving on to our next trivia question and our next topic, which is we're going to be talking about Elon. Todd's been working overtime today, getting all the news stories organized so we can present that to you. So Misty Dawn left the 2 cents out. Well, Misty Dawn is back. She's dropping a boom. Brian, could we do the because I don't think we're going to be using that frame again. Can we get a shot down there of the soup of the jar? We want to lock that in. We want to lock it in. There it is. Brian's manipulating the camera. This is our new super cool camera. Keep going. Almost. Oh, there it is. There's our little Cybertruck. And then we got the Beast right here. You see we got the Beast. Uh-huh. And we got my Doc Brown truck. See? This is what we do here at the Next News Network. We just play with cars and toys while we wake up America. Okay, so there it is, the oxygen jar. You know, how do I can move this in too, can't I? I got a button here. Oh, there's the zoom. If I zoom it up. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, up, up, up. Can I? There we go. Look at that. Up, 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 up. Keep going. Keep going. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. There it is. All right, lock it in, Brian. Lock it in. Lock it in. We want to make sure we get the beast in the shot right there. Okay. Yeah. And we want to get, see, look at, they're having a collision course right now. This is Elon Musk, and he's driving, and he's pissed off. He's pissed. They're playing chicken. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are playing chicken. Who's going to win? Yeah, it's late, guys. Okay, did I put that $10 in? Here it is. All right. Okay, we got to have some fun sometime. Lori Newland, she says she wants to give $5. And we thank you for that, Lori. Absolutely thank you for that. So we're going to put $5 from Lori right there in the jar. $35.98. That might just get us some fuel for the weekend. All right. Now, we can zoom it out. Let's see if I press the... Oh, there it is. Brian, look at Brian. Look at Brian. Brian's got toys. He can use the camera. He can do the camera all himself. All right, we're losing viewers because people don't like when I'm just being silly. They want to hear the news. Sometimes you just got to be silly, man. It's Friday. Okay. Here's our question. Which famous business partnership ended in a bitter public feud that changed American industry forever? Was it A, Henry Ford and the Doge brothers in 1913? Was it B, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak at Apple in 1985? Was it C, Walt Disney and Ube It Works in 1930? Or D, John D. Rockefeller and his brother William in 1911? That poll question will be up momentarily, and you can weigh in there or in the comments or in the chat. You guys ready? Let's roll. The most powerful alliance in modern politics just went nuclear. What started as whispers in D.C. has now exploded into an all-out war that wiped out $150 billion in market value in a single day. Tesla shareholders are in full panic. MAGA supporters are choosing sides. And the establishment is popping champagne as they watch our movement tear itself apart. Now, these aren't just random tweets. This is a calculated battle between two billionaire titans, both who believe that they're saving civilization. One controls the White House, and the other controls the future of technology. When unstoppable forces meets immovable objects, something has got to give. So here's the question. Who is going to survive? And just as titans clash over power, your body faces its own battle against aging. Collagen production drops drastically after 40, causing wrinkles and sagging skin and joint pain. But there is a solution. Ageless multi-collagen delivers 5 key collagen types from 4 premium sources, hydrolyzed for maximum absorption. No clumping, odor, or taste, just pure results. You mix it in coffee or smoothies. No GMOs, antibiotics, or hormones. That's why RFK Jr. loves the stuff. And every order feeds hungry children through nokidhungry.org. And guess what? You're going to get 51% off at healthwithgary.com. You're going to support this program at the same time. You'll get free shipping, 60-day guarantee, lifetime coaching, and a free skincare ebook. The website, healthwithgary.com. Visit it, and your skin will thank you. So, fighting aging with collagen is simple compared to navigating the explosive feud between Trump and Musk. What started as subtle disagreements has now erupted into a public war that's shaking the foundations of the MAGA movement. The season finale that nobody wanted to see is now playing out in real time. Scott Jennings, over on CNN, he perfectly captured the mood of millions of conservatives watching this disaster unfold with his Pepto-Bismol prop. Watch.
Abby.
Is that a bag for you to breathe into?
No, this is what.
Okay.
I'll be pouring this in my Newsnight mug tonight.
Oh, Lord.
Pepto-Bismol is what we all need here in the Republican Party.
I thought it was some Jack Daniels.
They might need that too.
I'm just, first of all, I just want to, I know that we have our differences here sometimes, but if you could give me a little dispensation for the next hour and not beat me to death. Look, here's the deal. The goals.
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to defend either of these men. You could just tell us.
And here's the problem.
What you think
here's the problem. They both have a point. Trump's agenda is in the bill, and he wants to pass it. That's his point. Musk is not wrong about the national debt, and he deeply cares about this, and that's his point. So their goals are not mutually exclusive, which is, I think, the rub. And for all these Republicans out here who, like me, have really enjoyed this coalition, this partnership. I mean, I firmly believe that the relationship and the partnership they formed last year saved America and put us on a path to saving Western civilization. And now this puts that in jeopardy. And so it's not just about the daily policy quibbles, it's about the larger cultural things that are at play. So I'm going to have some of this tonight and hope for better days and better skies tomorrow, because I still love them both, and I hate it when mom and dad are
Go
fighting.
ahead and take a sip, Bakari.
Mom and dad.
Elon Musk is calling in.
Mom and dad are fighting, and nobody knows who gets custody of the nation. Both men have valid points, but their egos might be too big for one movement. Dana Loesch, she brought the perfect metaphor to her radio show, complete with an AI-generated image of Trump and Musk as a 70s couple. Watch her break down the absurdity of the situation.
This is, I think, so indicative of where we are as a society as well. It's like, feels like the season finale of MAGA. I don't know if they're going to make up or not. That may change, but it feels like we were watching this, it's like you're watching a reality show and you have the season finale of it and you're taking it all in and oh my gosh, mom and dad are fighting. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram or not, but I found this most amazing AI image ever. And it's of like a 70s Trump, and he's in this just one of the most horrific jackets I've ever seen in my life. And Elon Musk. And it's like mom and dad. It feels like mom and dad are fighting. And I don't know who's going to get custody of us. Who gets custody of the nation? I don't know. Who gets custody? Those are the most bitchin' glasses I've ever seen.
Juan's putting that up right now.
I need those sunglasses. Oh my gosh. I would actually knock him down and rob him for those sweet Jim Jones sunglasses. This is my favorite. I put it to the tune of Al Green's Let's Stay Together. And all of you out there were so disturbed by this. But can I just appreciate that jacket is so loud, but the hair is so sweet. And I mean, it works. I would believe that.
I can smell the cigarette smoke.
Dude, can't you? And the leather seats, the Corinthian leather seats, the cigarette smoke, right?
Is that Olin Mills?
It feels like it's an Olin Mills photo, right? I need to see, that's the nation's parents right now. I don't know who gets custody of us.
Disturbing is what it is. But it does capture everything. The outsized personalities, the drama, the stakes. But behind the humor lies a serious question about the future of conservatism. Now, the tweets, they kept flying all day. Musk threatened to decommission projects. Trump fired back about funding. Then came the nuclear option, the Epstein tweet. Dana Loesch tries to make some sense of the chaos. Let's listen.
These are two people with outsized egos. And you have to have a large ego to be where you are at the level where they are, because you can't survive if you don't. I mean, that's kind of like this commonality with all of these people. I mean, you kind of have to have an outsized ego to survive, right? So we had the tweets started. I don't even remember. There were so many. At one point, I lost track. Like, we were going to go through all of them and throw them up but they kept doing it. And Musk was like, yeah. And then he said, he said that he was going to decommission Dragon X. I don't even remember. Juan, there's so many of them now. They would not stop. We were going to go through it, and you guys, there's so many. Just go through. He said, whatever. Keep the EV solar incentive cuts in the bill, even though no oil and gas subsidies. And remember, Elon Musk is actually on record as saying that he wants all of that to go away. I mean, he literally sat there and he said over and over again, yes, we need to get rid of this. We need to get rid of all of these things. And then the Epstein tweet happened, and I don't even know. It went into the Epstein tweet. I don't think that he is really saying that Trump's a pedophile. I can't even believe I'm having this conversation right now. So nuts. Did we accidentally get drunk or high? Like, what happened?
I hate it when mom and dad fight.
It's so confusing because he drops this and he's like, have a nice day, DJT. I don't really, because he's had little X hanging out with POTUS, right? He's had little X on Marine One with POTUS. I mean, I don't think he believes it. I think he's just trying to make it all very uncomfortable.
That's exactly what it was. I mean, we broke it down point by point last night. Go watch the video. All my analysis. But nobody believes Musk actually thinks that Trump is connected to Epstein, okay? Like you heard her say it. His son hanging out with the president. Okay, it's about making things uncomfortable, forcing a resolution. Now, the market did react instantly and brutally. Tesla stock crashed 17%, wiping out $150 billion in market cap. Fox Business broke down the carnage and what it means for investors. Watch.
Taylor Riggs is one of the hosts of the Big Money Show on Fox Business, and she joins us now. Hey, Taylor.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on. So last night, Politico was reporting that there's going to be a phone call between these two this morning. But now Reuters is saying there are no plans for a phone call. So we'll see who is right on that. Who's right on this big, beautiful bill?
You know, both. And that's a cop-out answer, so let me just take a minute to explain it. Trump is absolutely right. We have to pass the big, beautiful bill. It is the largest tax cut in history. Small businesses are waiting for 100% expensing, retroactive to January 20. 100%, we have to get this done. What I don't mind about this is I do like, and the market and the economy are appreciating some conversations about debt and deficit. And that's where I do think that people are appreciative that Elon Musk has come in, and we've talked about Doge and talked about, you know, some of the concerns about some of the deficit spending. That said, I don't want the conversation about deficit spending to stop passing the bill, because passing that bill really is important. But I do like that at least the Senate is taking a secondhand look at this and not just signing off on initially what the House passed and saying all bets are off, this sounds great, but also just having a little bit more of a debate and a conversation, which I think this country needs.
Definitely will make those tax cuts permanent, which we need because they're about to expire. These are tax cuts from 2017.
So, one of the biggest single-day wipeouts in history, all because two allies can't control their Twitter fingers. The question is whether cooler heads will prevail. Even Trump supporters are worried about what this means for Tesla and the broader tech alliance. Watch now as Fox Business, the team there, analyze whether this relationship can be salvaged. Take a look.
Were you shocked when Elon's stock tanked yesterday after Donald Trump said, I might not fund?
Yeah, it was one of the biggest wipeouts, I think, in history. $150 billion in market cap taken off from the stock. I think at one point down 17% on the day. Let's hope that there is a conversation today that cooler heads prevailed. I think people love Donald Trump, and they also appreciate what Elon Musk has done for this country. And again, when you think about how we're valuing Tesla as a company, there are some benefits there, right? About deregulation, about what it could mean for autonomous driving, what rules could come out of Beltway that could really help the rest of his business with SpaceX and some of the satellite contracts. So it's a relationship that they sort of both need each other in a way, and let's hope that our frenemies can come back together. I truly believe what Bill Ackman said, a big hedge fund manager, we're stronger together than we are apart.
We're stronger together than we are apart. Both men need each other. Trump needs Musk's innovation. Musk needs Trump's deregulation. Market analyst Alex King, he sees this as potentially the buying opportunity of the year, if you've got the stomach for it. His technical analysis reveals the key levels to watch. Take a look.
Trump and Musk have a falling out. Can Tesla buy at the bottom? On Friday, the Asia-Pacific stock index fluctuated narrowly, and the market was waiting for the non-agricultural data to come out before choosing a side. Yesterday, Trump and Musk had a complete falling out. The two openly attacked each other, and the Tesla stock price plummeted. Today, there seemed to be news of a reconciliation before the market opened. Trump's assistant plans to talk to Musk on Friday. The final result is unknown. So now many friends are concerned about whether they can buy Tesla at the bottom in the short term. When I posted the article, the Tesla stock price had rebounded to around 302. Unless you bought the bottom at a lower point after the market yesterday, I don't think it's meaningful to chase it at this position. Today, the pressure level of Tesla is around 306, and the pressure above 314 is very high. If you have already bought the bottom or are trapped, you can sell it high if the stock price rebounds to the pressure and can't get through. It is difficult to operate with such a sudden negative news that causes a sharp drop in stock prices because there is a possibility of repeated news. If you just look at the technical form, Tesla is definitely a short trend now. However, if Trump and Musk reconcile, then Tesla may recover most of yesterday's losses. So if you want to short, try to short at a high point of the rebound. So for this kind of stock that is completely dependent on news to influence the stock price trend, people will choose to wait and see. So whether you want to go long or short, it is best to bring a stop loss. After the non-agricultural data came out today, it is inevitable that the US stock market will fluctuate sharply. Conservative friends can choose to wait and see like me, because I only plan to buy silver-related varieties at a low price before the market opens. However, during the night trading period, silver futures continue to rebound. If silver does not adjust, it is estimated that it will take a break today. If silver futures can dive after the non-agricultural data comes out, you can buy silver-related stocks or ETFs at a low price. Pixat is a silver stock recommended in yesterday's video. You can consider buying at a low price when it falls back to the moving average or near the gap. You can also explore other silver stocks. The operation is more difficult now, and the loss effect is more obvious. It is recommended that you try to reduce the operation. The review video at the weekend will talk to you about the strategy for next week and the opportunities of individual stocks. If you like my video, you can click to support it. If you are worried that you can't see my article in the first time, join my group where there are many like-minded.
Okay, thanks for that there. Now, Tesla bounced off 302 but faces massive resistance at 314. This is pure news-driven volatility, dangerous for traders, but potentially lucrative for those who time it right. Now, Congressman Troy Nehls, he believes this relationship can be repaired. So do I. His reasoning? Well, because America needs Musk's 10-pound brain to compete with China and dominate space. Watch.
Can these two repair the relationship? Who? Do you think they can repair this relationship?
I would hope so. I think so. In the end, I think so. Listen, Elon Musk, again, I have a great love and respect for him and what he did with Doge and all that. Even many of you probably don't agree with that. But I think for the future of this great country of ours, we're going to need his 10-pound brain. We're going to need that 10-pound brain. I mean, he was bringing that spacecraft back into the cradle. I mean, he had to go get the people back out of NASA right from the spacecraft up there. And so, I support him, and I think many members in the House on both sides support what he has done for this country. I mean, he was all the Democrats' friend when he created this electric vehicle, right? I mean, didn't have to, no carbon and all that other stuff. And now all of a sudden he's on our team and things seem to be going well. But now we have an issue with maybe this legislation. It has to be the legislation.
Democrats loved Musk when he was building electric cars. Now that he's on our team, well, they hate him. We can't afford to push him away over ego battles. But here's the elephant in the room that Breitbart News exposed, the fundamental conflict that was always going to surface. Watch them lay out the real issue.
What we're seeing play out here is that Elon Musk's deep ties to China and his business things are now starting to conflate his position here. I mean, look, I'm calling it like as I see it here. I don't buy that he's too stupid to understand the process.
No,
okay?
and I think, Matt, you're flagging something that is really important for this audience because we all were hoping this day wouldn't come, and maybe it doesn't have to quite yet, because I do think this thing is going to pass, and I don't know if we'll have to have a real knockdown drag out. But you've got the two most powerful, most well-known people in the world who mostly agree and seem to genuinely like each other, but have a fundamental difference on China. And that was always going to be a problem at some point, unless Musk just caved, because Trump is representing, a country of 300 million people, and our biggest geopolitical foe is China, and Trump knows it, and Trump's always known it, and that's going to be, that's not nothing.
China, that is the core conflict. Musk does have deep business ties there, while Trump sees them as our biggest threat. This was always going to be a problem. Even AOC couldn't resist weighing in with her snarky "the girls are fighting" comment, but she accidentally revealed the truth. These are two massive egos in a very small space. Watch.
Any quick reaction on what's going on with Elon Musk and President Trump on Twitter right now?
Oh man, the girls are fighting, aren't they? I would say that this was something that was a long time coming, where we've been seeing that these two huge egos were not long for being together in this world as friends, and so I think this breakup we've been seeing a long time coming, but we'll see what the impacts are of it legislatively.
Thank you so much.
When your enemies are celebrating your internal conflicts, you know you've got a problem. The left is loving every single minute of this drama. Now, the path forward is clear, but it's difficult. These two titans must put aside their egos for the greater good. The Trump-Musk alliance saved America once, and we need it to survive. The alternative to handing victory to the very forces we united to defeat. If this breakdown taught you something, hit that subscribe button, because it's now time for my final thought. Now, here's what nobody wants to admit. This fight was inevitable. You can't put two alpha billionaires in the same room without eventually getting fireworks. But the timing is everything, and this explosion couldn't come at a worse moment. Right now, we're fighting for America's soul against communists, against globalists, and against the deep state. We need every patriot united and not divided. The real winner, when Trump and Musk fight, who is the real winner? It's China. They are watching our strongest alliance crumble while they plot our destruction. Elon Musk revolutionized space. He revolutionized vehicles. What did Donald Trump do? He revolutionized politics.
ISIS has spread like cancer. Another mess I inherited.
Trump revolutionized politics and governance. Together, they are unstoppable. Okay? Together, they're unstoppable. Apart, we lose. So here is the question. Can Trump and Musk put their egos aside to save Western civilization? Simple yes or no. I want to hear your answers. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I do read the comments. Remember, just put my name, Gary, in the comments, because I actually search for it. I want to see who's talking to me. I'll search for those comments. Remember, if these two titans can work together, they can't work together, the swamp wins. And if you stand with this movement regardless, grab some merch from our shop below. Show them that we are bigger than any one personality. Oh, isn't it ironic that I have these bobbleheads and these artifacts of Elon Musk and Donald Trump right here on this table? It's wild. And here we are. I do think that it was inevitable that there would at some point be a massive clash between these two. I just hope that they can bridge the gap, come together. But it's hard to walk back when you drop the Epstein bomb. It's really difficult. I mean, that allegation is so irresponsible. Anyway, what do we got here? Well, there was super chats. I think I saw super chat time. It's time for the super chats. It's time for the super chats. All right, where are we at here? Who's doing the super chat right now? Okay, wow, a lot of, wow, whoa, a lot of gifting members. 50. Whoa, we got 50 new members right now. I can't even. El Chingon, 10 memberships there. El Chingon, 10 memberships. El Chingon, thank you, man. Am I saying a bad word? I feel like I'm saying a bad word. El Chingon was gifted a membership by El Chingon. How does that even happen? How does El Chingon give themselves a membership? Okay. I guess there is something that can be done here. All right. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Baba Booey, Gary Hines, Daisy, V, El Chingon giving another 10. Holy cow. And then El Chingon, whoa, there he is. He's finally decided to break his silence. Dropping $20. Gary, thanks for all you do. What up to all of your awesome fans worldwide? I love the AJ gear you have. Save the frogs! Save the frogs. Save the frogs. In the jar, $20 right there. Boom. That's for you, El Chingon. Thank you. Am I saying a dirty word? I don't want to search that up. Curio23. $4.99. Good morning, sweetie hugs. What sound does the engine of a witch's vehicle make? Broom, broom. Did you really have to make me say that joke? Well, you know the rules. If it's in the super chats, I got to say it. And it's $5 right there from Curio23. What's up? What is up? And it looks like we got another one right below it. Can't see it yet. I'll scroll down. What is going on? You guys are on fire with this gifting. El Chingon gifting 5 new memberships. Keep going. Keep going. Juan Ruiz. These guys are going back and forth. These guys are having like a gifting war. Juan Ruiz gifted 10 himself. Look at all these new members. Oh, and then El Chingon fires back. 10 members from El Chingon. Wow. And then Martial Law decided to drop $5. Elon left the government job disillusioned, angry, and frustrated, just like every other person who does so with the intent of doing good. Well said. Well said, for sure. All right, there's still time to vote in the poll. And El Chingon dropping $20 again. What's up, man? Thank you. And what is he saying here? If you can see this transmission, you are the resistance. Wait, did I just put a $100 bill in there? No, that was a 20. Okay. Thank you. We're $85.97 on this Friday night. What are you guys doing this weekend? Anything fun? Anything? All right, let's get to our trivia answer. Because you guys said it was A, Ford and the Dodge brothers. Yeah, you got it right. The answer is A, Henry Ford and the Dodge brothers. In 1913, their bitter split led to competing auto empires and changed American manufacturing forever. Little history for you there. All right, we got some another historical trivia question. Moving on. During which administration did ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, first begin operations as a unified agency? Was it A in 1986 under Reagan? Was it B in 96 under Slick Willie Bill Clinton? 2003 under George W., or was it 2009 with Barack Hussein Obama? You can answer in the chat room, in the comments, or in our poll. All right, we're going to get some news now. Find out what's happening. Los Angeles is just a mess right now. I've been getting people sending me tweets all day about what's going on over there. Let's get to it, though. Got some breaking news out of Los Angeles. A business owner just locked ICE agents inside his building, and the FBI rushing to the scene. This is where Democrat rhetoric leads. They call ICE Nazis, and now citizens are taking federal agents as hostage. The left's war on law enforcement has gone from words to action. Meanwhile, MS-13 gang member Kilmar Garcia is being flown back to America as Democrats prepare to make him their newest martyr. And the assault rate on ICE agents has now skyrocketed 413%. And now they're being imprisoned by mob rule. This is not protest, it is insurrection. Remember that word that was thrown around so much? The rule of law is under attack in our streets, and the footage you're about to see will shock you. And while ICE agents risk their lives protecting our borders, your children face indoctrination in schools pushing radical ideologies. And that is why the Tuttle twins created Liberty First content that teaches real economics, personal responsibility, and freedom through engaging comics and activities. I actually have the monthly magazine right here. Check it out. The monthly magazine arms kids with the truth instead of propaganda. Look at some of these covers here. I mean, FEMA harming more than it helps. Tuttle Twins, monthly magazine for kids. What is collectivism? The science of our fear. I mean, tariffs, batten down the hatches. I mean, these are all, bring on the freedom. You can be a change maker. These are the comics that you will receive. Because remember, Reagan warned that freedom is never more than just one generation from extinction. So don't let your children become victims of leftist brainwashing. Subscribe now for just $56 a year at TuttleTwins.com/next. And you can give your kids the intellectual armor they need to think critically and defend liberty. You can give them as a gift for birthdays. You can gift them to your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews. Think about that. Every month, they're going to get a new package of freedom in their mailbox. And you're going to be planting seeds that will bear fruit. Remember, truth is the armor that they need to think critically and defend liberty. Their future depends on what they learn today. Go to the website, supportthetuttletwins.com/next, because we do here at the Next News Network. Now, just as we must protect our children's minds from indoctrination, we must protect our communities from criminal aliens that the left wants to turn into heroes. The latest attempt to manufacture martyr involves MS-13 gang member Kilmar Abrego Garcia. ABC News is already spinning the narrative. Watch how they frame this criminal's return to America as some kind of injustice rather than law enforcement doing its job. Watch.
Diane, what we know is that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is back on his way from El Salvador to the United States. He's flying here and should land late this afternoon in the United States. Now, we're told by sources that he's on his way back because he is facing criminal charges. He's been indicted by a federal grand jury, an indictment that remains under seal on charges related to human trafficking. So once in the United States, he will face federal criminal charges for allegedly transporting undocumented migrants within the United States. And as you mentioned, that stems from what we've reported on previously, that 2022 Tennessee Highway Patrol traffic stop where Abrego Garcia was pulled over for speeding. He was in that car with 8 other people who he was transporting. He was originally let go with a warning by the sheriffs, but those sheriffs were speculating off camera that that could be related to potentially illegally transporting undocumented migrants. Now, it's important to note here that this investigation, these federal charges, did not really get put into motion until April. That was weeks after he was deported and after the government admitted that he was mistakenly deported. So this federal investigation started when he was already in El Salvador. Of course, this is a mechanism to bring him back to the United States, where he will land shortly. We are told by sources that an indictment could be unsealed as soon as today, where we will see these federal charges. But again, it's worth pointing out, too, that it's unlikely that this criminal investigation wouldn't have started if it wasn't for that judge in Maryland in that civil case saying that ordering the government to bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the United States. We remember that went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court agreed with the district judge here and said that he must come back. But again, it's important to point out this is separate litigation. That's the civil case. He is now facing criminal charges here in the United States.
So, Catherine, what's next here?
Yeah, what's next? I mean, why are they bringing this guy back? Did they extradite him back so he could face these charges? Why not just keep him in that El Salvadorian prison? Why not? I mean, of course, the Democrats are gonna put down the palm leaves for this guy, right? They might as well bring him in on a donkey, right? It's insane.
So what would likely happen next is once Kilmar Abrego Garcia touches down on U.S. soil, he will likely either make his way to a courthouse potentially to face these charges. Maybe.
You know those streets. You know what's going to happen, right? They're going to line those streets with all of the leftists waving Mexican flags or something, right? That's what's going to happen. The grand homecoming.
That's a federal prison. Again, all of this is unknown. Details are still coming in here, but that is likely what will happen next. He will be here. He will likely make an initial appearance. Timing on that is unclear, but he will be told of these criminal charges if he hasn't already been told when he got on that plane from El Salvador.
All right, Catherine Falders, thanks for that. Again, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is now en route to the U.S., according to sources, to face charges for alleged human trafficking. Our coverage continues on ABC News Live and abcnews.com, and David Muir will have a complete...
So why do we got to spend the money? Why do we got to spend the money for a whole trial for this guy? He was already in prison. Leave him there. I don't understand this country sometimes. So they say federal charges, human trafficking, of course, yes, he should be punished for it, but why bring him back and spend all the money? I don't understand. Suddenly these charges materialized after he was deported. It sounds like they just made these charges up so they could have an excuse to bring him back. It's very suspicious, right? The investigation conveniently started after liberal judges demanded his return. But the real story starts with the body cam footage from a 2022 Tennessee traffic stop. Watch what happens when state troopers pull over Garcia, hauling 8 people for money.
Hello, sir. How are you? Good, and you? All right. Everything good? You got a bunch of people in here, don't you? It's 1 for 6. Yes. Go back to work. Gotcha. Where are you working at? Where? Where? San Luis, Missouri. Missouri? Yes, sir. Gotcha. Okay. But I'm from Maryland. Okay. Now, the reason I stopped you, we was running 75 down through here. 75? Yeah. Of course, this is 65 through here. I know. I'm going to 70. Going 70? Yeah. What's the limit right now? Is 70 or 65? It's 65. Oh, I can see it, sir. You got all your info? I see the other, the speed limit. I see the... Yeah, it jumps up and down. Not bad. Yeah, not bad. My license? Yeah, your driver's license, your registration, and your proof of insurance. Oh my God. Okay, sure. The what? The problem with my license right now is suspended, right? It's suspended? It's suspended because I have my permanent employment. So like 2 years experience, so I need. So right now I waiting the paper for migration. For I go to the MBA, so you know. That car no is mine, so it's to my boss.
So where do y'all live at?
Where I live in? I live in Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah, Oxon.
Whose vehicle is it?
What, excuse me?
Whose car?
I live in Maryland. That's your Maryland man right there. Your Maryland father right there. That's your new George Floyd of a different shade. There he is. Your new Maryland man. Yep, that's how they all talk in Maryland.
He's to my boss.
Your boss.
In 2016.
Where's he live? Where's your boss live?
My boss right now.
I mean, he's got a real thick Maryland accent, doesn't he?
He stay in Maryland, but he live in Texas. Okay. In Houston, Texas.
Have you got the proof of insurance?
Yeah, I don't know where to put it. My boss.
I don't know where my insurance is. I'm suspended. I'm from Maryland, but I'm really from Houston. I've got a car full of people. We just want to go to work. I'm going 75 miles an hour. I mean, this guy is just racking it up. I mean, I guess he didn't read the Constitution, right? You have a right to remain silent. Maybe sometimes you just got to keep your mouth shut. But, I mean, if you never took the Constitution class, then this is what happens, right? This is hilarious. I've never heard this guy speak before. This is the first time I'm actually hearing him speak. And it's that East Coast accent that's just giving it away.
Let me call.
Like, what is he looking for? I can't find my insurance. He's like, who's sitting in the front seat there? I mean, she looks terrified. She knows they're all getting locked up. She's like, man, I told you to slow down back there. You're going too fast. You can't be speeding when you're trafficking humans. This is hilarious. Bad boys, what you gonna do?
So where are you guys coming from right now? Where are you coming from?
From San Luis. So I work in San Luis. So right now, finish. That place finished. So I go back to the house of Maryland. Next week, I go maybe tonight the other project.
I thought you was going to Missouri.
The next project, I told you, the next project, the next week is everybody going to Niceville.
Yeah, I got to drop off a couple of these guys in Missouri, get my paycheck there. Then I'm going to go up to Maryland because, you know, I'm a Maryland man. Going to get some crab cakes.
Next project, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
What do y'all do?
Huh?
What kind of work is it?
It's construction, like remoderation.
Construction. Yeah. Those hands don't look like you're in construction.
Driver, everything like that.
Does anybody else have a driver's license?
Driver license?
Yeah. Nobody?
Only me, so it's there for real.
Can you find your insurance?
Si pueden buscar la insurance. You say?
Your insurance, can you find it?
I call my boss because I don't know where put the car.
Okay. I'm gonna go back here and run your license and stuff real quick, okay? I'll be right back. How dark are your windows?
Huh?
How dark's the back windows?
Window?
stand by. How dark are they?
The colors.
Yeah.
From Texas is good.
How many rows have you got in here? 4?
Where?
4 seats? 4 rows of seats?
Yeah, it's three seats. Yeah, with him. Yeah.
Did y'all put an extra one in?
Huh?
Did y'all put another one in?
No.
They come like this?
Use the truck.
I've never seen one with that many seats in it.
The hear me? What you say? It's my boss.
I said I've never seen one with that many seats.
Oh,
in
really?
It. Yeah. That's why I was asking if you'd put an extra one in.
No.
He's got one of those extended cabs, right?
The same. Like this.
Okay.
You know what you got, right? You know what you got here, right?
No.
He's hauling these people for money, is what he's doing. But sometimes they commingle dope.
No, but
there's 8 people in there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats in there.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to haul these people, probably to Maryland, I would say.
Of course, Maryland. He's a Maryland man. That's where he's going, right? Caught red-handed. Trafficking humans across state lines. The officer knew immediately what was happening. Garcia was getting paid to haul illegal immigrants deeper into America. But Attorney General Pam Bondi just held an emergency press conference revealing the horrifying truth about Garcia that the left does not want you to hear. So listen closely as she exposes what this victim really did. Watch.
Abrego Garcia has landed in the United States to face justice. On May 21st, a grand jury in the Middle District of Tennessee returned a sealed indictment charging Abrego Garcia with alien smuggling and conspiracy to commit alien smuggling in violation of Title 8 U.S.C. 1324. We want to thank President Bukele for agreeing to return Abrego Garcia to the United States. Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like. Upon completion of his sentence, we anticipate he will be returned to his home country of El Salvador. The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. He was a smuggler of humans and children and women. He made over 100 trips, the grand jury found, smuggling people throughout our country. MS-13 members, violent gang terrorist organization members throughout our country.
Over 100 smuggling trips. But the Democrats want you to believe that they were just huggling trips, right? He's just a ugly dad from Maryland. No, MS-13 members transported throughout our country. It wasn't a side job. Human trafficking was his full-time profession. And Democrats want to make him into a hero. The details get even more disturbing. Ready for this? Bondi reveals Garcia didn't just smuggle adults. He also, well, I'll let her say it.
This is especially disturbing because Abrego Garcia is also alleged with transporting minor children. The defendant traded the innocence of minor children for profit. There are even more disturbing facts that the grand jury uncovered. It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021 after the tractor trailer overturned in Mexico. This is part of that same ring. The defendant abused undocumented alien females, according to co-conspirators who were under his control while transporting them throughout our country. This defendant trafficked firearms and narcotics throughout our country on multiple occasions. They were using vehicles, SUVs, with added seats in the back, floors that had been ripped out, guns, narcotics, children, women, MS-13 members. That is what the grand jury found. A co-conspirator alleged that the defendant solicited nude photographs and videos of a minor. A co-conspirator also alleges the defendant played a role in the murder of a rival gang member's mother. These facts demonstrate Abrego Garcia is a danger to our community. We want to thank the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, our state and local partners, our acting U.S. Attorney Robert McGuire, and prosecutors from the Joint Task Force Vulcan.
Soliciting minors, involved in murdering a rival's mother, part of a ring that killed 50 migrants in Mexico. This monster traded children's innocence for profit. And now we're going to watch Pam Bondi hammer home why Garcia represents everything that is wrong with our broken border and why Trump's enforcement is absolutely necessary. Watch.
Abrego Garcia has landed in the United States to face justice. On May 21st, a grand jury in the Middle District of Tennessee returned a sealed indictment charging Abrego Garcia with alien smuggling and conspiracy to commit alien smuggling in violation of Title 8 U.S.C. 1324. We want to thank President Bukele for agreeing to return Abrego Garcia to the United States. Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like. Upon completion of his sentence, we anticipate he will be returned to his home country of El Salvador. The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. He was a smuggler of humans and children and women.
9 years of smuggling humans. Children, MS-13 terrorists, guns, narcotics hidden in modified vehicles. This is what American justice looks like when we actually enforce our laws. The left wants you to forget these facts. They want you to see Garcia as a victim, not the MS-13 gang member who repeatedly violated our sovereignty. Now, just look at this image. You see this picture right here? This is the image that's making the rounds on social media. Look at that. Nice, wholesome guy. Yeah, baseball cap, short sleeve shirt, button up. Looks nice, right? Well, ABC News conveniently leaves out his gang affiliation in 21 illegal border crossings. What they're doing is they're manufacturing sympathy for a career criminal. While Democrats canonize criminals, they demonize heroes. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu just compared ICE agents to neo-Nazis for wearing masks during operations. Acting Director Todd Lyons fired back with righteous fury. Watch.
So Democrats have a new problem with President Trump's border enforcement, ICE agents wearing masks. And Boston Mayor Michelle Wu is even comparing them to a neo-Nazi group. Watch.
I don't know of any police department that routinely wears masks. We know that there are other groups that routinely wear masks. NSC 131 routinely wears masks. What I said is that Boston Police and no police department that I know of at the local level routinely wears masks.
This comes as ICE agents are facing a 413% spike in assaults. Acting Director of ICE, Todd Lyons, joins us now. Mr. Director, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
Thanks, Lawrence. Thanks for having me.
So before we get into some of the data that you guys have released, we got to get your reaction to not only the mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, but what the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, said, which is he's going to identify all of your agents, whether you guys like it or not. What's your reaction?
Well, Lawrence, I used to say that I was pretty disheartened by some of the political rhetoric, but I've totally changed to it. It's outright disgusting. What Mayor Wu said is completely disgusting. She actually compared us to a neo-Nazi group. And here I am on January 6th, where many of the men of ICE, brave men and women that were veterans, on the day, great day in military history when we defeated the Germans and the Nazi Party, we have elected officials comparing the brave men and women of law enforcement to Nazis. It's completely disgusting. And I've said it before, to the mayor and to the congressman, I'm a victim of that doxing. Last administration, I had mass protesters show up at my house at 3 a.m. coming from other states because my name and address got leaked. So I know what the men and women of ICE go through every day. So while they may not like it, what the men and women of ICE are doing in Massachusetts and all over this country is making communities safer. And under Secretary Noem, she is giving us her vision and her leadership to go out there and make these communities safer. And that's what ICE is doing. So to call us Nazis, to compare us to one of the worst groups in history is disgusting and just outright wrong.
Comparing American law enforcement to Nazis is beyond disgusting. These officers are veterans and patriots and protectors of our communities. So why do they wear masks? Because violent criminals are targeting them. The assault rate against ICE agents has exploded 413%. Lyons reveals the human cost of Democrat rhetoric. Officers doxxed, threatened, and hunted by mobs. Watch.
And I know the men and women of ICE, all the men and women of law enforcement, they don't want to be the story here. But to paint a picture for our audience, how many, just an estimate of your agents have been doxxed so far?
Lawrence, there's so many ongoing investigations going on right now across this whole nation. Our partners at the Department of Justice have been great. We're bringing cases against these individuals that dox. But we have, I would say, if not hundreds, thousands. Look in Massachusetts alone. We had an officer, his photo went viral everywhere. One of the best officers, most mild-mannered, nicest human beings on the planet. Yet he was described in the worst way with his photo taped to every street corner, to telephone poles, identifying him just for doing his job.
I want to talk about your operation. It's supposed to be the best nationwide arrest record in history. Over 2,300 of those folks were arrested in one day. How were you able to do that?
Well, Lawrence, I think the best thing we have right now is a whole of government approach. The whole entire federal law enforcement system understands that President Trump and his administration sees this as a national security crisis. We have had so many unknown individuals that have been released into this country over the past 4 years that it's situations like just happened in Boulder, and it's situations like the heinous crimes that you've seen us take care of in Massachusetts that are happening daily, that we need to go out there with a whole of government approach between us, the ATF, the U.S. Marshals, DEA, Coast Guard, and make sure we're taking these public safety threats out of the street. And
thousands of agents, what have they been done? They've been doxxed, photos plastered on poles, families threatened, all for enforcing laws that Congress passed. This is what Democrat hate speech produces. But ICE isn't backing down. Recent operations netted thousands of criminal aliens, including child predators, terror suspects. Watch what they found just in a few days of law enforcement. Watch.
You're taking a look at just some of those arrests. According to ICE, as an entire group, they have been convicted of 473 crimes, among them 8 documented gang members, 11 convicted child predators, and you have a criminal alien who illegally entered the United States 21 times. In Philadelphia, ICE recently arrested this suspected al-Qaeda member, previously released into the U.S. by the Biden administration in March of 2023.
8 gang members, 11 child predators, terror suspect released by Biden, and a criminal who entered illegally 21 times. These are the people Democrats want roaming in your neighborhood. But the left's war on ICE just reached a dangerous new level. In downtown Los Angeles, a business owner literally imprisoned federal agents inside his building. Watch this breaking footage of the insane standoff.
Criminal search warrant just signed and approved by a federal judge. You are being reviewed as federal law enforcement officers carrying out our official law duties. If you do not comply immediately, you may be arrested and charged with a crime. Federal law enforcement officer lawful criminal search warrant signed and approved by a federal judge. You are impeding on our duties as federal law enforcement officers, carrying out official and lawful duties. First, immediately, you may be arrested and charged with crime. We are federal law enforcement officers executing lawful criminal search warrant signed and approved by a federal judge. We are impeding on our duties as federal law enforcement officers, preventing us.
Bro, they locked the ice inside the business.
Locking federal agents inside a building. I believe there's a term for that. It's called kidnapping. Obstruction of justice. Yet the left calls it resistance. This is what happens when politicians normalize hatred of law enforcement. The situation in LA is spiraling out of control as we speak. Fox News cameras caught the chaos as ICE conducts large-scale raids while leftist mobs gather to interfere with federal operations. Check out this helicopter camera.
Live look right now, that is a situation starting to bubble up in LA. There is reporting that these are ICE raids being carried out right near a clothing store. We are working to get a lot more details for you on this. We're going to keep you updated as the situation seems to be becoming more tense there by the moment. We're also tracking this. Democratic Party officials are starting to get
tension escalating by the minute. Democrat officials mobilizing to obstruct federal law enforcement. This is not a protest, okay? It's insurrection against the rule of law. The FBI had to deploy emergency units to downtown LA because these so-called protesters, yes, mostly peaceful protesters, physically threatening ICE agents. KTLA's cameras captured the FBI response as the situation turned from bad to worse.
Do you think they're still bringing more people out? Is that what they're setting up for here?
I think they're just trying to get the rest of the agents out. This is mostly FBI at this point that are here, and they're probably collecting additional evidence from inside and just making sure that all their agents were out of the building before they disperse. So we are seeing a couple more agents that are making their way out of the building. As far as people that are being taken into custody, I believe for the most part, the people that they were targeting inside the building have been taken into custody and were taken away in those vans. And now it's just a matter of the remainder of the investigators and agents to leave the location. So, and that's what we're seeing here. They're starting to kind of wrap things up here. So I feel that this is going to basically wrap up here within the next several minutes. And ultimately, we'll see the crowd kind of disperse, but it's just a matter of whether they are going to.
Every single person interfering with these federal operations should be in handcuffs. But in Democrat-run cities, criminals get protected while law enforcement gets attacked. This is the real-world consequence of comparing ICE to Nazis. The Garcia case exposes the left's playbook perfectly. They'll defend any criminal, no matter how vile, if it helps their open border agenda. They'll attack any law enforcement officer, no matter how heroic, if they enforce immigration law. This is not about compassion. It's about power. Democrats need illegal votes. They need cheap labor. And they'll sacrifice American safety and your family's safety to get it. They'll destroy good officers' lives. They'll elevate gang members to sainthood. Look, Garcia violated our borders 21 times, trafficked humans for money. He's MS-13, yet Democrats want him back here getting government benefits while calling the officers who caught him Nazis. If you're as disgusted as I am, smash that subscribe button. My final thought is next. Now, what we just witnessed in Los Angeles is the inevitable result of Democrat rhetoric. Business owners imprisoning federal agents, mobs threatening ICE officers, the FBI having to rescue law enforcement from citizens who've been radicalized by politicians that call them Nazis. I mean, remember when Governor Pritzker said, "They will know no peace"? This is it. This is insurrection, plain and simple. From Garcia, the human trafficker, becoming a leftist hero, to agents being locked in buildings by resistance fighters, we're watching the complete breakdown of law and order. And Mayor Wu's Nazi comparison does have real consequences. You're seeing it, blood on the streets. Consequences. When you dehumanize law enforcement, this is what you get. So here's my question. Should anyone who physically interferes with ICE operations face mandatory federal prison time? Yes or no? Let your voice be heard. Because if we don't defend the thin blue line, there won't be a line left to defend. Stand with law enforcement and check out our Patriot gear in the description. Okay, where are we at now? I am starting to get tired. Can you tell? Okay, El Chagon. If you can see this transmission, you are the resistance. We already did that one. All right. Prism Ward, $1.99 is a microphone. A microphone? I don't understand. Okay, but I'll take the two. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We are at now $92.96. Are we going to break 100 tonight? That would be cool. So, Studio, keep up the great work. Thank you so much. $5 right there in the jar. There it is. Right into the jar of Alex Jones was right once again. Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to get really tired here. Where are we at? Okay, we're going to go to the answer. You guys said Ronald Reagan in 1986. A. I'm sorry, but the answer was C. George W. Bush in 2003. ICE was created after 9/11 as part of the Department of Homeland Security to protect America from threats. There you have it. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our next headline. And I'm going to give you some backstory on this. But first, our trivia question. Which historic lawsuit successfully held federal agent... Wait, what? Did I just see something come through here? Eva just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Eva. Historical trivia question. Which historic lawsuit successfully held federal agents personally liable for constitutional violations? Was it A, Bivens v. 6 unknown federal narcotics agents in 1971? Was it B, Miranda v. Arizona in 1966? And was it C, Marbury versus Madison in 1803? Or D, Brown versus Board of Education in 1954? Answer in the poll or in the comments or in the chat. And Resto Guy, thank you, Resto, for that $10. We'll just put that right where it belongs, shall we? Just keeping this jar nice and stuffed. Thank you for that. Okay, moving right along. Before I get into the backstory, before I get into the full story, Deborah Myers. Okay, well, thank you. We'll just keep adding it up. $5 from Deborah. Thank you. Just because. That's nice of you. Okay. So, you may have seen the video we posted earlier today, and it was the Marine One was at the White House. You know, Trump leaving the Oval Office. He looked like a boss, by the way. You know, some people in the comments of that video like, "Why? What did I waste my time for?" It's like, you know, we send a camera crew to the White House for a reason, because you never know what's going to happen, and because we can. Okay, years ago we couldn't just send a camera crew into the White House, so we take advantage of every opportunity, because you never know what's going to happen. I've been at the White House so many times that sometimes Trump will he'll partake in the press. He'll walk up, he'll ask questions. I got to ask Trump a question. It was like one of the greatest moments of my life. Aside from shaking his hand, but that was another moment at Mar-a-Lago. But so we send the camera in because we want you to experience what we're experiencing, what I've experienced. We don't edit the footage. We don't make it look all fancy. We want to make it raw and real. We want you to feel the wind from those rotors. We want you to smell that fuel from the helicopter. We want you to hear what it sounds like when the press is just mulling about, chitter-chattering. It's a remarkable experience, because when C-SPAN and CNN, if they even show that footage, you're not going to ever have an opportunity to see the raw footage. And that's what we do. We bring the camera in, and we put you in the moment. Because it's history. You're part of it. We're sharing that with you. So when Trump walks out of that Oval Office, or he's walking out of Marine One, you never know what's going to happen. So, like I said, sometimes he walks up, sometimes he walks past. So we put our camera there and we wait. It's roulette. You don't know what's going to happen. And today, he walked out like a boss, and as predicted, if you were following me on X, you would have seen the pictures we were posting. And I posted earlier today, when our cameras arrived, I posted that I don't think Trump's going to answer any questions. I said, is he going to take our question? Or is he going to take any questions? I didn't think he was going to take any questions at all, because of the gravity of the situation that was unfolding between him and Musk. Because the minute he walks up is the minute they're going to start firing. Now, Trump can handle it. He knows exactly how to handle it. He can deal with the most hostile press corps at any moment. I mean, look at Jim Acosta from, the last administration. But because of the gravity of the situation, I had a gut feeling he wasn't going to take any questions, and he didn't. But our cameras were there anyway. So people in the comments of that video, go over, if you guys are watching, go over there, check it out later, if you didn't see it yet. It's about 20 minutes long. It's a lot of standing around waiting. But it's the energy that we're trying to transmit to you so you can feel it. And you never know what those microphones are going to pick up either, right? You might hear some spicy gems. And that's one of the things about the White House, is when you're there, it's all about keeping your ears open. Always. Because people talk. The reporters talk amongst themselves. You hear names, you hear places, you hear things. It's the whispers that take place in that press room that are the most powerful thing, because they can send you off into a direction and chasing a story, because you might hear something. I mean, I remember when, who was it that they removed him from the position? They put him over at the United Nations. His name escapes me now. It was after the whole Signal Gate thing. You know, someone's head had to roll, and it turned out to be that guy. I can't even remember. I'm so tired. I can't remember his name. But like that, it was whispers. That's how we heard. You heard the names being dropped about who was going to be put in his place, and all. It was an amazing experience. So you just got to keep your ears open all the time when you're at that White House, and that's why we bring the camera in so you can hear it too. Jesus Christ's gospel. Giving is caring. Last v your zest. You used to wear a suit. Well, if you watch the opening of the show, you'll understand. Thank you for your $10. Appreciate that. Okay, so my point was, I know I'm really just dragging this out here, but what happened, I got a phone call from Ivan Rakin, and he's like, hey, Gary, Enrique Tarrio is going to be hosting a press conference. And I'm like, where? He's like, at the White House. I'm like, whoa, you're at the White House. And our cameras were already locked down inside on the South Lawn waiting for Marine One. So we couldn't, like, once you're there, you're there. You can't go anywhere. Like, you're waiting. So we didn't have an opportunity to bring our camera around. But Ivan was able to get me his footage of this moment of Enrique Tarrio. And you're going to see it. It's raw. The audio is not very good, but it's there in the moment where history is being made. So just like in Marine One, the cameras are there, the cameras are rolling, bringing you into the moment. This next segment is going to take you into that moment that took place at the White House, just outside Lafayette Square. So let's begin. They spent 4 years in concrete coffins, subjected to medieval torture devices. Biden's DOJ crushed them, silenced them, stripped them of their God-given rights. But now the tables have turned. Enrique Tarrio and the Proud Boys just dropped a $100 million nuclear bomb on the deep state. Standing in front of the White House, they declared war. We are no longer on defense. We are the storm. FBI agents who tortured families, prosecutors who invented evidence, a judge who lied about knowing Tarrio, they're all named in this lawsuit. And what started as United States versus them is now them versus the United States. The reckoning begins today. So keep watching. And folks, you all know the cost. Yes, the cost of food is skyrocketed. Grocery bills are up 20, 30, 40% or more. We keep hearing about supply chain issues and shortages. But have you ever stopped to think about the natural food chain? At the very heart of it, the American honeybee. Now, Patriot Bee Best, they're on a mission to restore and protect America's bee population, which is essential not just for pollination, but for the survival of our food supply. It's not just about bees, it's about preserving our sovereignty and self-reliance in our way of life. They're doing it by educating patriots and funding real restoration projects. And when you support PatriotBeBest.com, you're actually supporting a veteran-owned, American-made movement. Right now, you can get 25% off with the promo code NEXTNEWS. So check it out. PatriotBeBest.com. Protect the bees and preserve the republic. And just as bees are essential to our food chain, justice is essential to our republic. And today, justice roared back to life right in front of that White House. The January 6th political prisoners are fighting back with a vengeance. Now watch. The footage is raw. It's rough, but it's real. In that moment, it's explosive as Enrique Tarrio delivers his declaration of war against the Biden regime that held him hostage for 4 years. Watch.
in concrete coffins and subjected to medieval torture devices. The Biden administration sought to crush us, to silence us, to strip us of our God-given rights for the rest of our lives.
That is Enrique Tarrio, part of the baseless charges. He's talking about the loss of the
fuel that Muslims invasion of the justice system against us. It began as the United States versus us. For 4 years, we fought to defend our innocence against the relentless assaults on our constitutional rights. Today, we defend it. Today, we This is Enrique Tarrio, Ethan Nordine, Joseph Biggs, Zachary Real, and Dominic Dezzola versus the United States government. Specifically, Biden administration and its ruthless campaign to rob us of our liberties and terrorize our families. We will not stand idly by while our rights are trampled. On November 5th, 2024, the American people removed the boot of tyranny from our necks by electing a president who upholds the rule of law and Constitution. President Trump kept his promise, releasing us on day one, ending our time as hostages of a lawless regime. He appointed Pam Bondi as the Attorney General to restore faith in our justice system. Today, we call on her to honor her commitment to the American people, to right the wrongs of her predecessor, and to hold accountable those who violated our rights. We trust President Trump's judgment. He doesn't make mistakes. In Butler, Pennsylvania, when tyranny tried to silence him, President Trump's words rang out, fight, fight, fight. Today, we heed his call through this lawsuit. We shall fight fiercely, unflinchingly, and without quarter, until justice is done, until the scales are balanced, and until the wrongs against us are righted. To the media, you were not mere bystanders in our persecution. You were complicit, fanning the flames of falsehood that fueled our torment. We will not tolerate further misrepresentation or distortion of our cause. Any outlet that spreads lies and defamation narratives about this lawsuit will face swift and unrelenting legal consequences. And let this be clear, this lawsuit is but the first salvo. We are coming for you. And for the financial and media institutions that enabled this injustice. Your reckoning awaits. We are no longer on the defense. We are the storm. And we shall sweep aside all who obstruct our path to justice. Thank you. We will not back down. The fight begins now. Yeah!
Just to briefly address you, one of the main reasons that I took this case was because the way this legal system has been used by the Biden administration is a shame to our forefathers and the legal system that they got from England, the common law system, where it is designed around people getting fair trials quickly, not being punished before they're convicted, the government not being allowed to invent or alter evidence that face no consequences, fair and impartial trials. These things are the bedrock of our legal system, and the 4 years under President Biden almost certainly critically, if not mortally wounded the legitimacy of the American legal system. What I saw happen to the J6 people, and in particular to my clients, indicates to me that there's a lot of muck that needs to be raked out of the stables of the Department of Justice, and I hope that this lawsuit is the first step to bringing back an equal application of the law to all. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your time and attention, and if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer.
I have a question for Enrique. Enrique, were you frustrated that the mainstream media is getting the back of illegal aliens due process when they didn't get your back when you were politically persecuted and in jail for 4 years pre-trial?
We've seen Democratic senators bend over backwards and fly to other countries for criminal gangs and terrorists, and they did not even flinch when they sentenced me to 25
2 years, and my brother's to 18, 17, 15, and 10 years, and across the spectrum of other J6ers. So to them, they're playing a political game. There was hostages in this country. It's not about any other country today, and that's why this lawsuit is so important to bring back law and order into our system.
Thank you.
What are you seeking, money damages or key TAM action? Or?
Well, we brought Bivens action and malicious prosecution accounts. Depending on how things play out, I might bring state law malicious prosecution counts and amend the complaint. I don't know yet. It's going to matter what information comes out and what we get as we move along with litigation, and how cooperative the United States government is going to be with our suit. We are seeking compensatory damages because the 4 years that these people spent wrongly imprisoned not only destroyed businesses, hurt families, and caused them to live below the poverty line. They caused medical problems. Two of my clients were not properly taken care of while in prison. They weren't given the proper medication. They weren't properly diagnosed, and as a result, they have developed long-term and potentially lifelong medical conditions that obviously are going to need to be compensed by the government because they're the ones who caused it. There are the loss of federal benefits. We have a veteran among our plaintiffs who fought for our country and deserves deserves his veterans benefits and his help with his medical condition that he undertook when he was overseas, when he got them overseas. So we're asking for compensatory damages, but more importantly, we're asking for punitive damages. Punitive damages are designed to be based on hurting the person who did the wrong, not to specifically recompense the damage done to the plaintiff. And the reason why it's important to do that is because you have to wrap wrongdoers on the knuckles. They have to feel it. And we asked for $100 million in punitive damages against the federal government because I want them to feel it. We want them to feel it because this sort of thing cannot continue.
Now you say, do you have any specific named defendants within the government, specifically any legislative actors that had a role in the weaponization against your client and others, such as the Speaker of the House, such as the General Counsel of the U.S. Capitol Police leadership? Yesterday, it was just announced that a new Capitol Police chief has been selected. And are you going to be going after that institution as well as any of the others, such as the executive branches, DOJ, and the courts?
So we're going after, I don't know that we can go after the courts, but this suit does include FBI agents in the Department of Justice and the prosecutors who are among the Does 1 through X, I through X, that haven't been identified because I don't know everyone who was involved in what happened yet. That's why we need to do discovery. But in terms of bringing in action against the legislator, that's a difficult question because of specific constitutional protections that legislators and legislatures have. In a lot of ways, they're unaccountable, and there's not a lot I can do in any suit against them. I'm open to trying to develop a legal theory that might let us do that, but right now, no. And I'm a big believer in, like, I'm asking for a certain thing, I want a certain thing, we're going a certain direction. Okay. I'm only going to hit the targets that are in my direct line of sight. So if I could bring the legislature in, but then what if that causes the litigation to go on for another year? Right, because I have to now deal with all these legislature issues. I'd much rather just stick to the focus. The DOJ and the FBI violated my clients' constitutional rights. The people involved need to be punished, and my clients need to be recompensed for that injury.
Thank you.
Is this impromptu park closure related to the press conference here? Do we know?
I have no idea. Okay. We have no that it could have been any number of things. Yeah.
No, I believe that this is, again, speculative, but I think the president taking off and some issues that had to do with it. That's why we were moved.
Is this separate from the class actions?
Yes, it is. I'm not aware of the class action suit right now. We're focused on us. That's separate from us. And another thing that I've said is I hope this suit encourages those J6ers to also take action against the federal government, those people that wronged them, those people that put them in chains, those people that tortured them and made them hostages for the previous 4 years.
You were at Elon's sentencing hearing this morning. Do you have any comments on what you saw today or what the outcome was?
What I saw today was a corrupt judge. What I saw today was prosecutors that should have been fired on day one. The judge lied while sentencing me and said that she had no idea who I was until I showed up in her courtroom. That's a lie. In 2015, I had run-ins with the judge multiple times. She knew exactly who I was. He was sentenced to 18 months, and the government was asking for 48 months, which is a loss from the government, but it's 18 months too long. He also got 18 months of probation. It's 18 months of probation too long. I think as of right now, I hope and I request, because it's at his discretion, the president signs a pardon for Shane Long, because he was completely persecuted. And it is a J6 case. They didn't go after him until I put him on the witness.
And in fact, if I may just real quick, included in the complaint is the fact that before he was set to testify in defense of Enrique, 2 unidentified FBI agents came to his home, knocked on his door, asked him about the trial, and told him, we're investigating you for obstruction of justice, and intimidated him so he felt he could not testify. And even though he withdrew and did not testify, they still decided to prosecute him, even though he bowed to their wishes. And I completely understand why he would do that. I'm not blaming the man. It's a travesty. The FBI should not be rolling witnesses over. It's not the witness's fault, it's the FBI's.
It's witness intimidation and obstruction of justice, and poetically, it's obstructing an official proceeding, which is a court proceeding, which is what we got charged with, the 18 U.S.C. 1512, which the Supreme Court overturned for us. But in this case, as it's written, I believe, I'm not aware, but I believe it does fit the crime we saw from those FBI agents and the members of DOJ that went on.
Enrique, are you frustrated that the Department of Justice and the FBI are still full of people that politically persecuted you when it comes to prosecutors and FBI agents? They're still there.
I trust the president's judgment. I've had my, I've like any citizen, you have my grievances with some of the things that she's done. But again, I trust her. The president trusts her. You should, in this case, the DOJ is going to do the right thing, because it is the right thing to do, not just because she was appointed by the president. This is the right thing to do, period. And that's why we're bringing this.
I want to point out, because we've got about 3 minutes left, that the press conference here abruptly comes to an end because leftist agitators showed up. The crowd started to get larger and larger because there's tourists walking around. There's, people going to work. And you could see the amount of press. There's dozens of cameras and reporters there. And I know several of those reporters. Great people. Now, I know which outlets. Lindell TV's there. Epoch Times is there. Some independent press. I doubt there's actually any real, mainstream press there. But this is taking place just on the edge of Lafayette Square, Lafayette Park, right on the sidewalk. Now, if you go back, you can see where they are. They're standing by the right in line with the fountain and the White House on the opposite side. I forget the name of the street, but they're right there. There's police tape. But they believe now. What my source told me, I contacted him. He told me that it was actually. The park was locked down because of this press conference. And then what happens is these agitators show up and literally force the press conference to shut down. So word started to spread. Enrique Tarrio's giving a press conference. He's suing the federal government for $100 million. And then they show up with bullhorns, and it starts getting kind of chaotic towards the end. And then they had to move locations. So this is about to happen.
Hey, we got our lives taken from us, and we basically got handed life sentences. All of us, in this case, got handed life sentences for crimes that we did not commit.
So to follow up procedurally, do you have any named defendants? Is it just broadly the DOJ and the FBI?
We've named the United States of America, Special Agent, Federal Bureau of Investigation Special Agent Nicole Miller, who took it upon herself to make it her personal crusade to torture my clients and their families. And she admitted as much on cross-examination, as well as in and produced documents that show inter-FBI communications regarding what she was doing and why.
And it was filed. It's filed in the Middle District of Florida.
In the District of Florida. Yeah.
Okay.
How many people that are pardoned are still in prison?
Right now, there is.
Can you know the names?
Dan Wilson.
We have about 4.
Elias Costanas.
I will post it on my Twitter. But there
Edward
is
Kelly.
Also, I think Stuart's going to come up here and talk.
Why are they still in prison?
I can't tell you.
They're still fine.
They're supposed to be. I think it's accurate.
In spite of being pardoned.
You know, I can't speculate. But I'll post it on my page and I'll share constantly people that are focused on that information.
Are you thinking about launching a political career, running for office, doing something like that?
Not right now. Right now, my focus is in getting justice. My focus is in this case alone. After that, maybe we can talk about that.
They picked that a long time.
And also, putting everything, all the broken pieces, from not just myself, but for my 4 other guys, for all of us together to put those broken pieces and getting our lives back together. And this is the first step in doing so.
What I noticed with the suit is that there are a number of elements that were discussed during the trial against you. And is there anything particular new that you spotted while raising this suit that you want to emphasize today?
So there was a lot of things. There was a lot of discovery that came after our conviction and sentencing, and there are a lot of things that we did find that we didn't example. I think you should read the document, but there will be things coming down.
Is it true that the DOJ tried to... Did the Department of Justice...
Notice how the Secret Service allowed them to go in there.
This is our enemy. These are the people who want to hurt you. These are the people who want to destroy you. These are the people who want to take away your freedom of speech. You have nothing better to do than to shout at a plaintiff and a court.
So
this guy organized the capital attack on January 6th.
If you need my number,
Traitor!
She found us.
You got it all out.
So this wasn't just a lawsuit announcement, a battle cry for every American who's been crushed by weaponized justice. Concrete coffins, medieval torture, witness intimidation, evidence fabrication. This is what our DOJ became under Joe Biden. Vittorio's words should echo through every corridor of power. He says, we're coming for you. The financial institutions that enabled it, the media that lied about it, the prosecutors who orchestrated it. He says your reckoning awaits. Now, Trump promised justice on day 1, and he delivered. And now these men are finishing the job. Every corrupt agent, every lying prosecutor, every complicit judge, they're all on notice now. The hunters have become the hunted. So here's my question. Should this lawsuit expand to include every single official who participated in the J6 prosecutions? Drop a yes or no and let your voice be heard. Justice delayed is justice denied, but justice delivered is divine. And support the fight with our Patriot gear down below, because the storm has arrived. All right. That is the... Man, I'm so tired. What time is it? 1 in the morning. Okay, we got to get to our... what do you guys say? It was Miranda versus Arizona. B. That's the answer you guys said, but it's actually A. Yeah, sorry, guys. Right. Brian must be busy. The answer is A. The answer is A. Bivens versus 6 unknown federal narcotics agents in 1971. The landmark case established that federal agents can be personally sued for constitutional violations. Looks like we got a couple super chats here too to bring up. We got Craig who dropped $5. He says, "Good night, everyone. May God bless each and every one of you in the chat. Thanks, Gary, for all you do. May God bless you and your beautiful family." Thank you, Craig, for that $5. And that will probably be the last $5 of the evening. As you can tell, I'm totally done. But of course, you know me. I've got more work to do. My work is never done. But I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, because what we witnessed today is not just news, it's the empire striking back against the deep state. We opened up with Trump's economic miracle, showing how 500,000 Americans got back to work, with every single job going to native-born citizens. The One Big Beautiful Bill promises to lock in the largest tax cuts in history if Congress acts. But will it survive the civil war between Trump and Musk? We dove deep into that Titan clash that wiped out $150 billion in a day. We had Adam Lowitz on at the open of the show, talking about unity, bridging the gap, and strategies. And Elon Musk even weighed in on Adam's strategy on X, showing that he's not throwing it all away. It doesn't seem like he's walked away from the movement, the MAGA movement, the party that he was drawn to when the Democrats pushed him away. So let's just hope that these two men who saved America from the radical left, who are now at each other's throats, can solve their differences. But, you know, there is that one issue. It's China, right? Always bubbling under the surface. And now it's exploded into the open. Then we expose the border crisis. Yep, explosion. The border crisis explosion the media won't touch. MS-13 gang member Kilmar Garcia, who made over 100 human smuggling trips, trafficked children even, being flown back to face justice. But in Los Angeles, we watched live as business owners locked ICE agents inside buildings. The FBI had to deploy. Leftist mobs threatened federal officers. This is what happens when Democrats call ICE officers Nazis. And then came that bombshell you just watched. Enrique Tarrio and the Proud Boys launching their $100 million lawsuit against the Biden regime. Concrete coffins, medieval torture devices, FBI agents intimidating witnesses, DOJ prosecutors fabricating evidence. Now they're coming for everyone who did this to them. He said, "We're the storm." That's what he declared. And that storm just made landfall. 4 stories, 1 truth. The fight back has begun. The economic boom proves Trump delivers. The Trump-Musk feud proves even Titans have breaking points. The border enforcement explosion proves that the left will use violence to stop justice. And the Proud Boys lawsuit proves that political persecution has consequences. Yes, we are at war, not with foreign enemies, but with the deep state cancer that has infected our institutions. They wanted to break us. Instead, they awakened us. So thank you, everyone who sent in super chats and rumble rants tonight. You are the resistance. Your support through donations and merch purchases doesn't just keep us on air. It keeps truth alive in an empire of lies. $122.96 and 60 new members tonight. Amazing. So, folks, tell everybody about the raw feed. You can see me. I'm just like, I am so tired right now. I put it all. My team puts it all out there for you guys. We do it for you. So tell a friend. Text the link. Share it on every platform. Because if we don't spread truth, tyranny wins. If we don't stand together, they will pick us off one by one. And if we don't fight now, there won't be a republic left to save. So keep your eyes open, patriots. They're locking up ICE agents. They're calling heroes Nazis. They're protecting criminals while persecuting patriots. But we see it all. We document it all. We're not backing down. That's why we're here, transmitting the message of truth. Yes, the storm has arrived. The reckoning has begun, and justice is coming. This is Gary Franchi for the Next News Network's Raw Feed. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. We'll see you at the next show. Have a wonderful and blessed weekend.